All right, world, let's do this.
Good morning.
You know what? I'm not even upset today. It is a good morning. And I will tell you that while there's sports that I care about precisely and exactly 2 weeks out of every 4 years, do you know how nice it is to show up to the studio at 4:37 a.m. this morning, to walk upstairs, to turn on the TV or the computer or wherever you get your sports from, and to have not just live athletic competition, but the highest of high stakes athletic competition. It has been wonderful. There's like a sweet spot for the Olympics to take place. And I think Eastern Europe is the sweet spot. And I think it's the sweet spot because let's keep it a buck. When it's in our time zone, as the next set of games will be in Los Angeles, California, when it is in our time zone, it is frankly a little tough to follow because of the amount of games that we have. Baseball going on, we have soccer going on, we've got other stuff happening. And so even though the games are on in prime time when they're here, there's also everything else in our lives going on. And it's tough to follow. When they're on the other side of the planet, as they were last time they were in Tokyo, that's kind of bleep too, because those games are on in the middle of the night, right? I will tell you that a couple of years back, I very much remember setting the alarm to wake up at, 1:45, 2:15 in the morning, because that's when the soccer team was playing, because they were playing in prime time at night over there. And so you had to get up at 2:45 in the morning to watch them here. It's very frustrating. To have them on in the AM, to have them on this early, to have them on at the point where Zoe and I are here in the building and we're doing a show and it's our opportunity to watch these things live. The women's 200-meter butterfly heats are being run right now. When we're able to get here and turn them on in the AM and just kind of have them on and in the background while we're getting our day started, I'm going to tell you straight up, it's kind of my favorite thing, to be quite honest with you. It's kind of my favorite thing.
Yeah, I forgot to check. I was watching badminton this morning. I don't know if we won or not. We were up one set. It was individuals and against Vietnam.
Don't worry. We've got a whole Olympic breakdown coming on later in the AM because the Olympics are on. That's why. Because they're on. And therefore we should talk about it. And we will. We got to get to some Olympic talk today. I'm just saying, I very much enjoy getting here at the butt crack of dawn before all of y'all are up and at 'em, knowing Zoe and I, we got to be on the A game early. All right? We got to get here and be ready to roll. Because if we're not, y'all can tell, the bosses can tell, we got to be good. So there's not much that gets the old metaphorical juices flowing. Quite like watching athletes who spent their entire life preparing for this, not just this moment, one moment. There are women swimming in the pool in Paris, France right now that have spent their lives getting ready for this race. This is all they're here for. They're coming up for a race. Do you imagine? Like, I think that's why I love the Olympics. Yes, there are the Simone Biles of the world who get to go to 2 or 3 or maybe 4, maybe 5 games, Diana Taurasi. Maybe. But the overwhelming majority of the, I believe, 10,000 athletes that are in Paris right now, the overwhelming majority of these athletes, they got one crack at doing the thing that they have been getting ready to do for their entire lives. They get one shot at it.
I was waiting. That's stunning.
One opportunity. And we get to sit here and watch them, watch that. I mean, I don't know what's better than that. I don't know what would get said metaphorical juices flowing a little bit better. Coffee doesn't do the job for me, that knowing that there are 7 women in the pool with 200 meters separating them from eternal glory, putting their name in a record book that will span, hopefully, the rest of human history. And knowing that if they make a mistake, think about that, right? I was watching on day 2? Because again, watching, can I keep it a buck with you? You guys know I have my my list of sporting events I don't care about, which is headlined and highlighted by the Kentucky Derby, an event I could not care less about. Watching people ride bikes is very high on that list for me, okay? Like, I respect the athletes that run the Tour de France and Tour d'Italia and all these tremendous events. I respect the athleticism. I used to ride bikes. I get it. It is one of the most strenuous, difficult. You ever seen the legs of bike riders after they come off a stage of the Tour de France? They look like comic book legs. They're frankly disgusting. They're gross. If you've not, just go right now. Pick up your phone. It's early. You're not ready for work yet. All right, you're hanging out, drinking your coffee, reading the newspaper, whatever you do that makes you be up this early in the AM. Grab your phone and Google bicyclist legs after Tour de France and look at these freaks. And I say that with all the respect in the world, okay? Because it's not easy to do. But as we discussed the other day about what sport? Pickleball. Just because I have respect for the game and the people who play it, the people who are good at it, doesn't make it entertaining. Bike riding's on that list for me. Until you slap the American flag on the side of their unitards and send them down a hill. And whoever gets down to the bottom of the hill first brings gold and glory back to country. Now, all of a sudden, not only do I like bike riding, but I end up becoming a bike riding fanatic. So I'm watching the women's time trial event on Saturday. And it was raining in Paris, France on Saturday. It was raining. The course was wet. And they pointed out, they said, look, course is wet. They still run the race. But you gotta be careful, right? Like, this changes how you navigate the course. If you go into a 90-degree turn, hauling ass on wet pavement, physics still counts. The laws of physics are still in play. If you lose traction because you've given away the friction between tires and pavement, do you know what the next thing to touch pavement is? Your ass. Careful.
Or your leg, or your head, or your arm.
Yeah, it's funnier the way I put it, but you're right. So here I am watching this event, and onto the podium comes a young lady representing the red, the white, and the blue. And she gets up there. I'll tell you this, Saturday, I could have told you her career bike stats. I knew them all. She had this many top 10 finishes in world competition, and she did this, and she did that. I knew them all because I was the biggest that lady fan I've ever seen. And they're like, this is her best and likely final opportunity to win an Olympic gold medal. Oh, buddy, was I tuned in? Was I tuned in? This never happens. We were down in St. Augustine doing wedding stuff, right? Lady friend and I, every minute of every hour we were down there was to be dedicated to making plans and making a schedule and figuring out who needed to be where, when, why, yada, 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 yada. And when they started this thing, it's like 39 minutes from top of the hill to the bottom, right? For the medal contenders. When it started getting down, she's like 15 minutes into this thing, halfway down through that ride. And when she got down through that ride, they're like, my goodness, she's on a gold medal pace. She's got an opportunity here. She's X amount of seconds ahead of the leader. She's got an opportunity. And I went, Courtney, we have to stop now. It's like, why? I'm like, this lady's going for gold. She's like, she's riding a bike down a hill. She's riding a bike. That is, of the Olympic events that you, fatty, could get out there and do right now, getting on a bike and going down a hill is one of two. Handball is the other one. All right? That's it. That's the list. Table tennis, I wouldn't be any good at it, but I could play it. But that's the whole list of Summer Olympic Games I could participate in. Like, I could throw a javelin. Would it be anywhere close to good? No, I've never done it before, all right? I would reach way back into my genetic evolutionary history, try to go find the caveman gene in there from when we were spearing mammoths, all right? And maybe see if I could dig up something to look. But I can't be good at it.
You're saying you can't break dance?
No, are you kidding me? The only thing that would break is most of the bones when I got on the floor to do it.
You've lost some weight. You can pop it and lock it with the best of them. Come on.
Listen, if you were graded solely on doing the robot, I'd have a chance. Like, I'd have a chance. You give me a couple of weeks, all right? Give me a couple of weeks. I could probably come in here and give you like a solid robot. But like spinning around on my head on the floor, bro, I get dizzy if I spin in this chair to stand up and go pee too fast.
Yeah, we've all seen that.
Yeah. That's not, by the way, that's not a joke. That's not a joke.
Yeah, I know.
If I spin this chair too fast and get up and go to the bathroom, Lonzo's seen it. I got to reach over, grab the arm of the chair, and just sit there for a second. Just got to take a break. Just got to take a second. Let the oxygen get back into the noggin. So no, I can't break dance. I can't spin in a chair designed to spin. So no, I can play handball. I could shoot. All right, we did this not too long ago. Maybe we do this again. Lonzo and I, a while back, we went down through the list of however many Olympic events there are in the Summer Games. Maybe we'll do it today. Why not? I enjoyed it. And we looked at every sport on the schedule and said, if we picked 100 random men across the upstate, right? Not like athletes, just random dudes. We just went downtown and stopped the first 100 fellas that walked by and said, you 100 guys are doing this event. Where would you place within that 100 guys, right? Like, I would be a top 10 shooter. I grew up shooting guns and hunting. I would be a top 10 shooter if you took 100. Now, if we did it in Pickens County, I'd probably be like 50th.
Dude, I don't know
right?
if you're definitely not number one in this building, probably.
I'd compete. Me, Cole Bryson.
Come on, Bill Frady, dude.
Frady.
I mean, and Odie was also
really,
yeah, all big time.
Really,
yes.
So I would say in this building, I'm top 3.
If we were to field any team for the Olympics,
shooting would be it.
That would be it.
Shooting would be it for sure. So, but the point is, I could do it. Okay, I could. Could I fence? No, I've never fenced. I own a bunch of swords, never use one. I would get, in fact, there's a video going around right now. If you haven't seen it, I'll send it to you during the break. Snoop fenced the other day.
Yeah, it's on my
funniest freaking thing I've ever seen. He's like G talking the guy's face. He's like, where you from, cuz? Wait, whoa, stop swinging at me. Like, it's the funniest thing. But the point here is,
those things don't hurt. So I mean, you have a little bit of a reckless abandon and
sure. But also, you can't just charge in. You lose, right? I mean, I want to compete.
Okay, but you said, could you do
Could I
sport?
do it? Yes. I'm saying, could you do it and look like you know what you're doing, not just be out there swinging because you think you're in a pirate novel, all right? I'm God! Like, no, that's not going to get it.
Yeah, I was thinking Musketeers, but I mean,
So, blah, 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 blah. Point here is on the list of sporting events at the Olympics that I could do, riding a bike down a hill, I could do. All right. I used to bike. It's fine. So, not competitively. Clear it up, not competitively.
Okay, at the speeds they go down, you're gonna.
No, I used to mountain bike. I used to.
Right.
Well, Florida mountain bike, so hill bike. All right, I used to big hill bike.
By the way, we know
mountains and hills, same thing.
Same thing. It was
educational.
It was mountain
show.
biking. Yes.
So the point here is, I'm like, I still need to watch this lady. This lady's got an opportunity to realize a lifelong dream. I've got to watch her do this, and I was all in, and then. She's getting down towards the bottom of the hill. She's got a little while to go. And what ends up happening? She loses her back tire and she eats it. And they said this is probably her last opportunity to do this at the Olympics, right? So this lady spent years getting ready for this. This lady spent years setting herself up for this moment. And a couple of raindrops at the wrong place at the wrong time on the wrong part of the track touched the wrong part of her tire when she was going the wrong speed and leaning the wrong way. And 4 years of dedication and effort and training and begging for sponsorships and everything else that goes into being an Olympic athlete. 4 years of that gone just like that. Now, she did get up, and despite eating bleep on the track, she still won silver. So it's pretty good. But she would have not just won gold, she would have eclipsed it. She would have probably world recorded it. And that went away because it sprinkled on the track that morning. That's why I love the Olympics. Also, Haley Van Lith and the 3-on-3 women's basketball team got their asses handed to them by Germany yesterday.
I was going to say the 3-on-3. I have no interest in that.
I love it. Are you kidding me?
It's not. How
do you not have interest in just schoolyard hoops, bro?
Because we're not good at it, which is dumb.
Well, I will say this.
I saw the men lose too, and it's just like
okay, but here's the thing, and this is why it does bother me a little bit. We said Jimmer Fredette.
Yeah, I know.
Jimmer Fredette.
Well,
the best American basketball player we can find to go play is Jimmer Fredette.
Well, that's his interview afterwards, and I was just like, okay, why is Jimmer there?
Why is Jimmer there? And listen, respect to Jimmer Fredette, I'm sure my man put in a buttload of work to get there and be ready to play.
You couldn't put Kawhi on the main team. Put him on the 3-on-3.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
If I'm an NBA hooper, let's start with this. You know, most of the NBA teams are going to be like, absolutely not. Because these games, 3-on-3 is schoolyard rules. It's make it, take it. It's back out past the 3-point line.
Let's bring the champion from Ice Cube's.
Oh, it's not make it, take it. It's just whoever gets the rebound keeps the rock. Oh, even more fun. It's schoolyard basketball, right? Like, here's what I propose we do for this. Whatever NCAA team wins the men's and women's national championship tournament, best 5 players from those teams goes. Let's do it that way, right? But the best we can do is Jimmer Fredette. The women at least set like Haley Van Lith, right? Formerly from LSU, and she left after Caitlin Clark ended her career there. But this is the best we got. We can do better. Both the men's and women's lost. Jimmer! Rob Lonzo with you. The Rob Brown Show's on your radio. It's the Fan Upstate.
As far as that lady falling, we've seen throughout my lifetime, I've seen several things where that happened. They did a thing for a decathlon where it was something in Dave. I can't remember the other guy's name. And there's a big ad campaign. One of them didn't even make it. And then Apollo Ono, I don't know if you remember, one year he fell. And he was supposed to be and like once he fell, it was over.
Yeah. You in those events, you can't make a mistake.
I didn't get to hear if that weather was current. Had a lot of space on the end of it. That's not good.
Germany just running the classic old 50 picks around the arc strategy. Just the weave. The warm-up drill we all used to run, the weave.
And I didn't, watching the guys, I didn't see anybody who could slam. And maybe I just didn't see enough of it. And maybe you don't do that in this game. I don't know.
12-second shot clock. Out of bounds is normal. It's not make it take it. It's just whoever gets the board, make or miss, whoever gets the board. So I'm going to get like, I don't care if it's somebody who's never played basketball. I'm just traveling America looking for every 7-5 I can find. And I'm like, get every rebound. We're going to play 2-on-3, but you get every rebound. They'll never get the ball.
What, a 3-second rule or what? I mean, are they allowed to stay
there
in
is
there?
a 3-second rule in Street. I could be wrong. I'll be real. I watch Street 3-on-3 once every 4 years. Mike, what's up, fella? Welcome in, buddy. Happy whatever today is. What is today? Wednesday?
Yes, today is Wednesday.
Also, let me know what you want to do about the thing we were talking about.
I will. If we were to do it, it won't be till later anyway.
Okay.
Belly waves. I got belly waves. Wow, they just took 2 bottle tops and scaled a fish.
Christopher Nolan's lowest rated Rotten Tomato score is Tenet. It's got a 69% rating. Everything else is 73% or above. Have you ever seen Insomnia?
No.
From 2002, starring Al Pacino, Hilary Swank, and Robin Williams.
Is Robin Williams the bad guy in it?
I have no idea. I've never seen it. And now I kind of don't want to, I'm not going to read it because I kind of want to watch it now. And Al Pacino, Robin Williams, murder mystery. I'm all in. I'm all in. I want the killer to be Robin Williams, but he's being like Genie from Aladdin.
Well, he was already that in that, was it Shutter or something, where he like worked in a photo booth?
I don't think I've seen that.
Yeah, so any serious role.
Robin Williams was an excellent dramatic actor.
His serious roles, he was pretty creepy.
And it turns out it's because he was a very sad person.
Yeah.
The comedy was his cover.
Way to bring down the room, Rob.
There is only one negative about the Olympics. We're not going to hang on the Olympics all day, but I do love them. So you are going to get a lot of it over the next couple of weeks.
I really hope next week wrestling is on at this time and you're forced to watch it.
Again, to be clear, I watched people ride bikes down a hill this weekend. Like I gave people riding bikes down a hill precedent over talking wedding planning with my fiance. You slap an American flag on the side of the helmet or the jersey or the unitard or whatever, and I'm in. I will watch every wrestling match that takes place with you during these Olympics and not another one for the next 4 years.
Okay, because it starts on Monday. So
I will watch every one that's televised. All right. I will do this. I will bring in the laptop and the HDMI and run it up here so that we can quad box everything going on. I'm happy to do it.
I'm surprised you haven't done that yet. But that might divert your attention from the other thing that you're supposed to be doing.
Yeah, that's kind of the stupid radio show getting in the way of me enjoying my Olympics. My Olympics. All right, so we'll talk more Olympics as we move on through. But I love them, dude. Like I can't explain it. I get super jazzed. Oh, Haley Van Lith just took a pop, bro. She is, I'm going to give her credit. She is a tough little SOB. Like, Germany has been beating the hell out of Haley. They know who the star is. By the way, here is one problem you bump into when you bring like a star to play 3-on-3 hoops. You bump into the best player's got to become your point whatever, right? Point guard, point forward, whatever. So I got Hailey Van Lith, who I want to be setting screens for and giving her the opportunity to pop from range, and instead she's having to play point guard. It's like, it's not the role, man. We couldn't go find a point guard. Couldn't go find one woman that wants to play point guard. Could you imagine if Caitlin Clark would have said, "Oh, y'all don't want to put me on the 5-on-5? That's fine. That's fine. I'll go play 3-on-3. Hailey Van Lith and Caitlin Clark. The Ranger Reese in there for the lulls." Actually, one of the things that's very interesting about this, I said I'm not going to talk more Olympics, and here we are. One of the things that's very interesting about Olympic basketball is that it is officiated entirely differently from American basketball. Now, it's not to say the rules aren't the rules. The rules are the rules.
Like goaltending doesn't count.
Once the ball's on the rim, you can go get it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because LeBron was doing that the last game. Yeah.
Yep. So you got to think about that. You've been playing basketball one way your entire life. And then once every 4 years, if you're LeBron, maybe once in your lifetime for most of these cats, all of a sudden they're like, hey, by the way, for the next 20 games, everything you've ever played is different now. There's no defensive 3 seconds in FIBA ball, meaning I can stick Joel Embiid under the rack and go, stay within 5 feet of the basket. Don't move. Block everything. There are different rules. Not a lot, but there are different rules, and it kind of changes the game. The other thing, great one, is you can get a lot more physical defensively in FIBA basketball. So a lot of these NBA guys, they're having to go back to playing like they're not superstars, right? Like LeBron, and there are some guys who adjust to that. That is why, by the way, Team USA taking on South Sudan, which should be a nothing game, right? It's a team we were favored over in the warm-up tour by 47.5 points. We beat them by 1, all right? 46.5 points on the wrong side of the spread for that one. So this game becomes very, very interesting. I'll tell you this, I'm betting USA to cover. You think they don't want to get that one back. But you look at LeBron in that last game. When this team figured out that hand checks, you need a hand check in this, right? A lot of hand checks letting go. When they figured out that just because you take the rock into the lane and rise with it, doesn't mean that any little breath on you is going to get called for a foul. And keep in mind, the roster for Team USA's basketball team, it's superstars only, right? With the exception of maybe Derek White, but he's an NBA champion. Like right now, like active, like reigning, defending. So the way I'm looking at it is most of these dudes are very used to, you drive into the lane, and if you can get deep enough into the lane to rise and shoot, any contact's a foul. Not in FIBA. You gotta get popped in FIBA. And so what did we see out of this team in game number 1 against Serbia? Especially with Nikola Jokic down there patrolling, right? What did LeBron do? I'll tell you what, you don't have to like him. That's fine. I am damn glad Braun is repping the stars and stripes, because what did LeBron do, Lonzo? He went into the lane and he went through chest. Dude was taking contact. Dude was leaning into contact. He was hitting the shots, getting knocked to the ground, getting back up, and hitting them with the fist pump or the shoulder shrug or whatever else. Like, I loved it. But I think that's why I love the Olympics. I think it is, because it is all of y'all that have said, I love college football because, it's about the pride, the pageantry, the tradition, the love of the game. Is this not the definition of it? Like, is the Olympics not the definition of the love of the game? Most of these athletes are going to make, unless they win a gold, like little to no money doing this. There are some countries that will pay their athletes for their time and their effort and all that. But most of the athletes that go, all that money is going to do is go back into the cost to get there. So these guys and these gals aren't going to Paris and competing in these games to become millionaires. The ones that are already millionaires, great. But again, you think LeBron is doing this for the money? I mean, maybe he's doing it for the brand, right? This would be his third gold medal?
It's questionable whether he's doing it for the country or not for some people.
No, it's not.
But I think the reason why he's doing it is for legacy. I mean, and
yeah, but is that not fair of every Olympic athlete? I think that's fair of every Olympic athlete.
Yeah, but in his case, it adds to his legend.
Again, I think that's true of nobody's ever said, I want to win a gold and then never have my name mentioned for it ever again.
Well, there are a lot of people who have won gold and never have their name mentioned again. But when LeBron James, already one of the most famous people on earth, adds another accolade to what he's already got, then that will be that's another notch against Michael Jordan. Not that he's doing it for that reason, but it is.
I mean, it is only if you're keeping track.
And a lot of people are.
Sure. But what I can't let anybody do is take, this is how I feel about LeBron, and then cast it on LeBron like it is right. That is why he's doing it. It's not fair. I think, here's the reality.
Like I said, he's doing it for his legacy. I mean, that's the thing that makes the most.
You don't get to do that.
Sure it is.
You don't know he's doing it for his legacy any more than I do. All right, fine. Lonzo.
I do get to do that because that's what we're paid to do.
Lonzo is only here for his legacy.
I'm not going to say anything about my paycheck.
But you see my point here? You see my point? Like, Lonzo's only making like $1 million less than LeBron every year.
If there's anybody in this building that could say they're only here for their legacy, it would be me. Finishing up my 25th year. I'm just saying. I mean, most people, this is a place where people come to get started, or a place where people come to end their career. And I've been here the entire time, and we're changing.
I'm so glad I'm here.
No. We've been changing over the last few years.
Which one am I?
As the market grows and things like that. But anyway, yeah, I'm a legacy guy here for sure.
So let me ask you this question. Whether you think he's doing it because he genuinely wants to represent the United States and win a gold, or he's doing it for his brand and his legacy, or, in my opinion, most realistically, probably a little bit of both, right? Regardless of why he's doing it, are we on the same page that the way LeBron is playing basketball is representing in-game whistle 40 minutes is representing the U.S. well the way he's playing?
Absolutely. And we knew he was going to do that before he went, because we talked about how he's not going to let them lose, and he's already proved that once. Hopefully he won't have to prove it again. Hopefully they won't get that close of a score, but it could happen. It could happen today.
South Sudan today, this afternoon, 1:45, I think. I'll have the full Olympic schedule for today coming up here in just a little while for you. We'll take a look at what events we've got going on. Team USA Soccer, the fellas moving on. 3-0 win over Guinea. They are on to the quarterfinals for the first time since, 2000?
You're giving them some love. Look at you.
Hell yeah, I'm giving them some love. They played like...
Yes! Yes!
And you say you couldn't break dance.
Oh, I broke something. All right, when we come back, we'll get away from the Olympics maybe for a minute or two, and then we'll come back to it. Rob Brown, the Great Malonzo, the Rob Brown Show is on your radio. It's the Fan Upstate. What is... There's a window open on my computer, and I don't know what it is. Damn government. Give me 30 seconds, guy. Be right back.
So is that a raspberry on her face, or is that a?
Don't know.
Okay, because it's.
Yeah, don't know.
I don't remember ever seeing that before. So. It took me an hour and a half to get those posted yesterday on the new thing.
You're gonna have to show me because I started doing it yesterday and I was like, I must be doing something wrong because it was taking so long. So
yeah,
I may watch you post.
There's a reason why I'll show you. There's a reason why sports are test marketing. I mean, we're basically beta test.
Yeah.
Diesel posted his from the night before and it never posted because there was no redirect from the old site and they had to go, corporate had to go in and fix it. So there are some problems.
I'm never going to buy anything off of Temu, but I can't block them on Instagram because they target me with ads that I find hilarious. Like, for instance, I'm being targeted with longbows, swords, PlayStation 5s, and 6-foot-tall teddy bears right now. They know me.
Or they were listening.
And full-scale armor.
Or they were listening because almost all that stuff was being talked about.
Backyard baseball batting cage.
I don't know why you need that, but okay.
Lord of the Rings Lego sets.
Yeah, that's the most expensive thing you've talked about.
Not it out. Not it out. The Rob Brown Show back on your radio. It's the Fan Upstate. Hey, guess what? Coming up tomorrow, the Carolina Panthers are going to be right down the road in Clemson, South Carolina. And I'm actually quite interested in seeing this. Why? You might ask, because I've been following training camp as closely as is possible from an hour 45 away from HQ up in Charlotte, North Carolina.
And for those of you who don't know, not only is that going on tomorrow night, but there's actually preseason football.
Sure is.
Tomorrow night.
In which the Chicago Bears have said they're not playing their starters at all. No Caleb Williams tomorrow.
Still watching.
Like I'm addicted to it. All right. Let me put it this way. I'm going tomorrow to do wire to wire without Cole Bryson with Diesel with Rob Brown tomorrow. Live from Panther Fan Fest down in Clemson.
Sure are hanging out with the X an awful lot lately. I'm just saying.
I mean, the boss told me, it's one of those weird situations. So I'm going down there to do a show with Diesel, and then I'm off on Friday. We're off on Friday. I'm off on Friday. Lonzo's got to work without me.
Yeah, I'll be here. I just won't be on the air. So
I've got to leave right after Panther training camp to go to Atlanta. Well, I scheduled this with the little brother months ago, right? He booked the event, whatever. And what I didn't do, because this was just the weekend that it worked out that everybody could go. This is the weekend. Well, I didn't really look at the sports calendar because I didn't care. I'm not missing this, right? Like, this isn't it's a weekend all about me. You think I'm missing that? Absolutely not.
I know something you're missing.
I know a lot I'm missing.
You still haven't mentioned it.
Because
that's fine.
It hurts on the inside.
No, I get it. But
Lonzo's going to pick up our trophies this Saturday, and I'm not.
Yeah, but the thing is, you just suddenly just act like it doesn't exist. We still have a chance to win. It's a we thing. At least I always believe it's a we thing, except for the one award that you're up for individually. It's a we thing. So, I'm a part of we. I don't know if you knew that. So I am going to go to the thing and I'm going to represent.
Star Award ceremony on Saturday night in Columbia.
And I'm scared because I've never went up on that stage by myself in all the years that I've been going there. And I got to go up by myself.
Dressed like a garden party attendee.
I got my ascot, by the way. I have no idea how to tie it. So I'm going to be spending a lot of YouTube time trying to figure out the proper way to do it.
Better idea. Don't learn, just try, see what happens.
I already
go
did,
that way.
I already did that.
Oh, okay. So Star Wars is Saturday. I don't get to go to that either. Again, we booked this event months ago before we knew what the date for that event was and that we were going to get invited at all. So I got to go. Thursday is the Hall of Fame game. And yesterday I called the little brother. I'm like, hey, because everybody's getting in at night, right? Like at night, because I got a bunch of folks from Florida that are coming up for it that have all got to work. They're not getting there till night. Got a handful of buddies from here in this area that are going over. All got to work. So everybody's getting there at night. I called him. I'm like, you better save me the big bed and I'll be there late. He goes, why? I said, Hall of Fame game's Thursday. After I leave Panther Fan Fest at Clemson, there's a little like Irish sports pub on campus there. And I'm going there to watch the first half. All right. About the same, it kicks off about the same time. I'm going over there to watch the first half of that event. And when the first half's over, I'll listen to the second half as I'm on the way. Because again, second half for our teams, second half for Carolina, New Orleans, Atlanta, yada, yada, yada. Very important for me as an analyst because that's where you get to see, you know, the depth of the teams and the backups and whatever else. So I got to watch the first half, and now I'm not going to. I'm going to listen to it on the radio, and I'll watch it on fast forward on the DVR when I get back to the house because Caleb Williams ain't playing. The Bears starters ain't playing. No DJ Moore, who, by the way, yesterday, DJ Moore became the highest paid Chicago Bear of all time. Got a 4-year contract extension worth $110 million. Biggest contract ever awarded to a Bear goes to DJ Moore after he led the team last year in receptions, touchdowns, yards receiving, yards per game. DJ Moore was responsible for 40% of the team's receiving yards last year. And my dude just got paid for it. Just got paid for it. All I'm saying is, Bryce, you better be worth it. That's all I'm saying. You better be worth it. Hey, do you have to call your own fouls in 3? Oh, you do not. Okay. Say, do you call your own fouls in 3-on-3 basketball at the Olympics? Because there's some level of pride in not calling your own fouls. I look
back up, and now the dudes are playing. Is this the one we lost, or is this?
Yeah, this one we lost.
Oh, so they're
replaying yesterday's 3-on-3 games.
Why?
Because they haven't put them on TV yet. This is, I will say, the one. I said we're not going to go Olympics. We'll go very quickly. Then I'll come back to Panther camp here in a minute. This is very interesting, and it's very interesting to me because as a sports guy, if it is not a game that is pertinent to doing the show, and I know the result, it makes it very difficult for me to watch a game that I already know, especially if the team, like if you got a dog in the fight and you know they lose. Watching US v Serbia 3-on-3 street ball is kind of tough for me to watch when I already know we lost.
Well, I took care of that for you. Now we're watching skulls.
Rowing. For those of you that went, what? Rowing. I don't know what event. It is the women's.
I don't know if I'd be splashing in that water after they weren't sure about letting the decathletes.
Well, two things. Number one, the Olympic Committee did say that the river is now good, so the triathlon will be going today, or has already gone. I'm not sure yet.
I think it already started earlier.
Second off, I don't think they are rowing in the sign. I think they're in a different place.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, I think they're in a different spot. But we'll see. All right, back to football.
Some of that might get in your mouth. I mean, I'm just saying.
Back to football. Panther training camp tomorrow. So yesterday, there was a little bit of footage that started leaking out. It's not a ton. But we are starting to get some clips from Bryce Young. We're starting to get some clips from training camp. And I saw a couple of clips yesterday. And again, let me start by saying this, because there's another guy at training camp, a rook, that I'm going to talk about. Apparently, Do you know what rookie quarterback is turning heads right now? Do you know what rookie quarterback
I do.
has gotten a lot of praise for his performance in camp so far? Do you know what rookie quarterback is being discussed as potentially being the steal of the 2024 NFL draft? Your guy, my guy, our guy, Spencer Rattler.
Oh, he's definitely your guy for sure now. So, I mean, hopefully.
That would be New Orleans Saints quarterback Spencer Rattler.
I thought the quarterback in front of him was future Hall of Famer.
Derek Carr. We got our Hall of Famers stacked up down there.
It's a succession thing.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
We got QB1. So we got QB1 and also QB1 down there in New Orleans, Louisiana. All right. So Spencer Rattler's turning heads. But let me address this. I'm watching the tape yesterday, and y'all, couple of things. Number one, and again, before I get to it, take that back and say one more thing. Before I get to it, I want to say this. There is not a drug on the face of planet Earth that gets me as high as training camp workout warrior film. I will watch 5 minutes of workout warrior film, and I have got a buzz going that can't be replicated by the finest of narcotics. I think. I've been told. I don't know for me, like for a fact. But the point is,
I'm glad you clarified, because I was going to try to help you there, because you made it sound like you've tried every drug known to man.
No, I've not. No, in fact, I've tried very few of them, if we're being honest. Okay? So, there's not a drug that I have been informed of yet that gets me or could get me or will ever get me as high as watching NFL workout warrior film. I'm not ready for you, Bryce. I'm not ready for you. Hang in there, bud. I'm coming to you in a minute.
All right, you point to me when I can turn it back up, because
Oh, we're good now. I muted the page until I'm ready for it.
Okay, all right.
So, I'm watching film yesterday. Of Panther training camp. Full pads yesterday. Full pads. Got the shoulder pads on, got the leg pads on. The boys are cooking last night. And I am watching film, and y'all, number 9 was dropping dots yesterday. Yesterday, Bryce Young was throwing the rock with the accuracy he got drafted for. More than anything else, BY got drafted for 2 things. Numero uno, smarts. Numero dos, accuracy. And yesterday, dude was cooking the first-team defensive backs to a perfect medium rare. Cooking them in full pads, full contact practice, was dropping dots. But that's not even what I wanted to get to, because the accuracy is big. You know what I saw yesterday? And granted, in the face of imaginary pass rushers, nobody actually trying to get to 9 yesterday. But Zoe, there was one specifically. I watched him drop a pass to Deontay Johnson over J.C. Horn. And he takes the snap, and he takes his 3-step drop, and then he plants that back foot, and he sits, and he's not hopping, and the feet aren't chopping like Peyton Manning on Columbia marching powder like we saw last year. He takes the drop, he sits, he watches just before Deontay hits the out, he plants the foot, and he drives into the football. The ball arrives as the DB's turning his head to look for the route. So the DB's turning his head, and the ball goes right past the face mask into Deontay. It's workout warrior film. It means nothing. And yet I watched this pass. I mean it. I watched this pass probably 13 consecutive times yesterday, because it is chef's kiss. Perfect. Just tasty meatball.
That chef's kiss thing was just added to the Cambridge dictionary.
It was excellence. I got to tell you,
He wasn't doing that last year in training camp. So, I mean, not that we saw at the Fan Fest last year.
That is correct.
So,
and let's also make sure that for the sake of context,
Yeah.
you know I love context on this show. He was a rook, hadn't been there long, was learning an offense for the first time underneath a coach who suffered, I assume, from bouts of narcolepsy in Frank Reich. All right. The most boring and unenthusiastic head coach I've ever seen at the NFL level.
That's kind of mean, dude. I mean,
right.
okay, if you say so. I
Mean
mean, when people get older,
and
they
right.
get sleepy. Trust me.
Well, then don't go be a coach. All right. I'm not saying you got to be out there jazzed up, woo, about everything. But I'm saying, would I watch you give a press conference? And I'm going, yeah.
Your jazz hands were amazing, by the way.
Spear fingers. When I'm watching that, like, context matters. But there was something more to it. Will Pelagic got an opportunity to sit through the press conference yesterday. The boy, Willie P. Can we text Will, see if he can come on tomorrow? Do you mind doing that? We need to get Willie P in here because we're going to see him tomorrow.
It's not my job. Yeah, I can do that. It was a joke, Rob. It was a joke. Yes, I used your name before you freaked out. It was a joke. Yes, I will. Not only that, I will send his number to you for the 10th time.
That's great. That's great. I appreciate that for the 10th time. Will Pelagic got to go talk to BY yesterday. Well, it was a press conference, but he got the chance to go talk to BY. I want you to listen to BY when he got asked, are you more comfortable not just as a QB, but as a leader? He said, and then forgot to unmute the site again. Here it is.
That's a good question. I got to think about it. You know, that's a good question. I didn't see that one coming. That is a good – I got to, think back of, my other I think I definitely have the same approach looking back on it. I think the biggest thing is making sure that I'm holding myself accountable. I'm doing the right things on my own, making sure that, you got to earn the right to be a leader and making sure that, I can't go and tell people to work hard and then come in and not have that same intensity, not be focused in meetings, not know my stuff, whatever it may be. So I think it's similar in having that same approach, that same mindset, and then on top of that, getting the time to learn the guys, really build relationships with people and not just be someone who's talking, but someone that, off the field. And, it's on me to make sure to carve out time and to have those conversations to build that. And, this being year 2, a lot of new faces, but a lot of the similar guys as well, having more time, more connections, and then us all learning a new system. But it just, having a year under my belt, feeling more comfortable, having more experiences, I think it's just, on me. Obviously, there's stuff on the field that I'm growing in, and the same thing leadership-wise, making sure that I'm taking steps there, doing whatever it is that's best for the team. And I think that's been a common theme of what I've always been working towards in previous levels.
So I am going to say that I am right now about to be super wild biased as a guy who's been defending this cat for now a year and some change. I'm about to be super biased. That's how you answer a question as a quarterback.
It's also proof that sound travels up.
Sports Flash. Sports Flash. Just do the Sports Flash.
U.S. gymnast Simone Biles returned to the top of the medal stand after helping Team USA win gold in the women's artistic all-around. The gold is Biles' 5th and 8th overall, making her the most decorated American Olympic gymnast in history. Biles still has opportunities in individual beam, vault, and floor. After dropping the series opener against the Brewers, the Braves picked up a 5-1 win yesterday behind Bryce Elder, who surrendered 5 hits through 6.1 innings, striking out 7. Atlanta's offense collected 14 hits, including 2 from Jared Kalenic, Sean Murphy, Eddie Rosario, and a 4-for-5 day from Austin Riley. And make sure to tune in this afternoon from 3 to 7 p.m. for our brand new local show, Wire to Wire. Cole Bryson and Diesel get you up to date on the latest local and national sports news. Great guests, great debate, and a whole lot of fun. And you know what? It's all Wire to Wire. Thanks for the offer, Trey, but I'll be good. You don't have to talk. You just go up, you get the trophy, and then you exit off the stage. So as long as you don't fall, you're good there. And then you go back and you take a picture, and then you go back to your table. So I'm good. The one thing is Rob won't be there, so we won't be able to goad each other into doing something goofy on the stage. I'm going to be wearing a cravat, so my nose in the air will be perfectly acceptable. Plus, if I get really scared, I'll just pull my hat down over my eyes, so I'm all right. It's something. Maybe I should, print out a picture of Rob Brown and just carry it with me onto the stage. We had talked about FaceTiming, but he's going to be at a bachelor party. It's probably a bad idea. And he's got a weirdo phone, so it won't work. So maybe I'll print out a black and white picture of Rob and just walk up on the stage with carrying it close to my heart.
You know what I just thought of, and it's too late to do? I would have ordered myself a fat head and sent it with you.
Oh, I would have carried it.
Bring a Rob Brown fat head on a stick.
I
might go see if I can get one printed out at like Home Depot or something.
That is the one place where I don't care, which I don't understand why, but that's fine. The TV people are going to be judging you anyway. The radio people are just all trying to one up each other. So, I mean, I've done the thing where I haven't tried anything on except for the cravat. So I'm probably going to do that today. Yes. I just couldn't pay a couple $100 for a linen jacket. Although Bill, I think, did that. Maybe he'll let me borrow his jacket when I go up there. Exactly, Trey. I would do that. If he had full on cutout, I would put that next to me, make sure that he had his own seat. I would say I don't want to embarrass the president, but you know what? The president of the SCBA, but I've done that many times at that venue. So remember when we got
Wait a minute. I don't know if this is targeted. Life-size cardboard cutouts available, printing, 24-hour rush delivery. You might whirl up in here Friday morning and find Card Rob. I got to come up with a good name for Cardboard Rob.
no one has ever done it before. It'd be a great idea. It is a great idea.
So Saturday evening is the annual South Carolina Broadcasters Association's Star Awards that are taking place over in Columbia, South Carolina. This is the event where the SCBA hands out their trophies to media from around the state for excellence in broadcasting. 3 of the awards that they will hand out this Saturday evening are Best Sports Talk Radio Show in the State, Best Morning Show Personality or Team, and Sports Broadcaster of the Year. All 3 awards that Lonzo and I are finalists for, which means we've already won the silver medal. Now it's just a matter of finding out who takes home the gold in the 3 categories for this show that we are nominated for. Except for Rob Brown is out of town this weekend. I'll be over in Atlanta. It's the bachelor party. The little brother set this up months and months ago before we knew the date for the Star Awards. It's just an unfortunate coincidence that this is taking place on the same day. And because the little brother put in a bunch of effort to make this thing happen, I'm not going to miss it, right? As much as, and I mean this, it makes me sick to my stomach to not be there Saturday night.
Yeah, he got, visibly angry about it. It was
genuinely.
Yeah.
The day that we got the date and we found out what day it is, and that trip to Atlanta was already on the schedule and all that, I was in the office. This doesn't happen very often, right? I'm calm, cool, collected. As Stu Scott would say, I'm as cool as the other side of the pillow. Takes a lot to get the temper out of Rob Brown. I was genuinely angry. I'm not missing the bachelor party. My brother put in all this work. I got people coming from around the southeastern United States to be there. I'm very excited about it. But I was real mad that I have to miss the Star Awards, especially when Rob and Lonzo have set station record for most trophies being brought back from this award. Even if we go silver, it is a station record for most nominations and finalists for any show on this station all time. I'm very proud of that. We're very proud of that. And yet I got to miss it. So during the break, I was like, I should get Lonzo a printout of my head on a stick to bring up there. And then Trey hit us with, bring a cardboard cutout like Jay White. And I spent the entire break.
You're taking full credit for this. When I said I was going to take a picture of you, and then it escalated.
What Lonzo said was, I'm going to take like a black and white printed picture of Rob's face.
Yeah. So, I mean, once again, not giving me any credit, man. I just, that hurts.
Because you were going to take like a 7x11.
Because I'm not going to spend any money on it.
Oh, I will. So I spent the break Googling how fast can one get a full-size, life-size cardboard cutout delivered. And the answer is from the Little Rock Print and Press, 24-hour shipping, which if I order it today means they ship it tomorrow, means it arrives on Friday. I get it sent to the station. Lonzo's picking up. Here's the question. At a point in time where I've already said I'm making big sacrifices like not buying my new Xbox Series X to play NCAA College Football 2025 from EA Sports. It's in the game. Is it worth it to spend $225 to get a 6'3" tall print out life size of me to have Lonzo carry around at the Star Wars?
Dude, Staples is cheaper. We do don't go with we could just get a poster made. And you've seen the poster that I had made over there. It's cheaper than that. And we could probably get it just as quick. I mean, just check that out. It won't be a full cutout, but it'd be easier for me to carry.
That wasn't my concern. All right.
I guess as long as I keep it intact, which I'm not sure how I'm going to do that.
I don't even care if it makes it back. I just need it there. I
mean, I absolutely will do. I will take it. I will set it up. I will give it its own spot at the table. I will carry it up there every time I go up there because I don't care.
If there's anybody out there.
The one time when I don't care, people look at me.
If there's anybody out there that has any knowledge of, connection to a printing company that can guide me in the right direction to come up with either A, Fathead Rob, just my head on a stick, or a life-size cardboard cutout, a.k.a. Jay White, so I can get it by Saturday.
It can't be a wooden stick though, because I can't. I have an aversion to that. I can't. So I mean,
I want you to know, in the 4.5 years we've been working together, that's the weirdest thing about you.
And we have talked about it.
Yeah,
before.
a lot.
It's a popsicles.
Yeah.
No, wet cardboard can't. I just can't.
That is the weirdest thing about you.
It says a lot because I'm pretty weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, fine. You got feet. I got wet cardboard. Whatever.
Those are very different things. Very different things.
He's serious about this, and I am too. If you guys know of a place where we can get something like that printed up fairly quick,
I don't care if it's just like a 3 foot in my head. All right, if it's just a 3 foot in my head, so life size, I'm in. I'll do it. Hey, it's 7:06 in the morning. You have got 53 minutes and 23 seconds before you got to get clocked in and locked in at work, before you got to answer all those passive aggressive emails or just regular aggressive emails back to the boss. And then you're going to walk down the hallway. You're going to go meet your coworkers, maybe your friends at the water cooler, and you're going to talk sports. And if you want to talk sports, you're going to need this.
Are you ready for the playbook of the peculiar, the almanac of the absurd, and the encyclopedia of the extraordinary? Well, you better be, because we're diving headfirst into the 3 top stories that will have your coworkers saying,
"Oh no, don't start."
Take their first bathroom break.
No.
Here we go. Welcome to the water cooler cheat sheet on the Fan Upstate.
It is the water cooler cheat sheet, the top 3 sports stories that you need to know before you get to the office and start talking sports this morning. This is what you'll be talking about. Let's start with item number 1. The MLB trade deadline hath come. The MLB trade deadline hath gone. It is official. Teams are locked in to their rosters. Had a flurry of moves towards the end of the day, though it was not nearly as active as I thought that it was going to turn out to be ultimately. We did have a flurry of moves as the deadline approached yesterday. The LA Dodgers made one of those moves. They added right-handed pitcher Jack Flaherty, who comes over from the Detroit Tigers. Flaherty is a guy that back in 2019 finished 4th in Cy Young voting. Now, he had a lot of injuries, a lot of disappointment between 2019 and now, but the dude has been relatively good this year for the Tigers. He's 7-5 with an ERA under 3, 2.95. He's got 133 strikeouts, which is 19 walks in 106 2/3 innings so far. Pretty good. And that is something the Dodgers needed, some pitching insurance in the front end after all the injuries that hit them last October. They wanted to add a little bit of depth. They're still waiting for Yoshinobu Yamamoto to come back. Walker Buehler is not back yet. But if those guys come back, you got a lineup in LA that consists of Tyler Glasnow, Jack Flaherty, Yamamoto, Clayton Kershaw, and Walker Buehler. That's stupid. That should be illegal, is what that should be. That is a ridiculous rotation the Dodgers are going to be working with coming into the playoffs. Why is that interesting? It's interesting because this team has gone 15 consecutive playoff games without a starter getting an out in the 6th inning or later. They just added some depth. Pretty solid. The Pirates bring over Brian De La Cruz from the Marlins in a 3-way trade that also involved Toronto. De La Cruz is kind of interesting. Showed a lot of early promise in his career, but has been honestly pretty pedestrian so far this year. He is hitting .245, .289, .417 this season. That is a below average OPS, but he's also got some discipline issues, some plate issues. Will the Pirates be able to get that out of him? Will being surrounded by a younger, less seasoned locker room maybe loosen De La Cruz up, get him a little bit more comfortable in the saddle? We're going to find out. If he does, the Pirates, who have got great pitching, just added to the offense. That's pretty good. Tanner Scott is a left-handed pitcher that is now a San Diego Padre, headed over from Miami. Of course, AJ Preller, the GM of the Padres, known for busting it up around trade deadline time, that's what happened. The Padres need high leverage arms right now because they're really good on the back end. They're really good out of the pen, but the starting rotation has been okay. Excuse me, flip that around. Starting rotation's been pretty good. The bullpen's been okay. You end up adding Tanner Scott. Now you've got a premier back end arm. That's a good move for the Padres, who look a lot scarier now than they did 3 days ago.
What's a back end arm? I saw that. Is that like a closer?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So you've got ordinarily you've got your starters. Those guys are referred to as your rotation. You've got your relief guys or your setup men. Those are the guys that usually come out like 6th, 7th, 7th, 8th inning. And then you got your closer, ordinarily the guy you send out either 8th and 9th or just 9th inning to finish a game and put a team away. Those are guys that usually you want them to go 15, 20 pitches because you're going to use them multiple times a week versus your starter that you're going to use once every 5-6 games. So, pretty good move. Paul Blackburn heads over to the Mets. I don't love that. Blackburn, pretty consistent back end of the rotation starter. Remember, Kodai Senga has still not been able to come back for the Mets because of a foot injury. Returned to active big league duty late last week, but was wildly uninspiring in that moment. So they needed somebody that they could plug into that gap if Senga needs to disappear for a little while to keep working on rehab. And then Paul DeJong is going to head over to Kansas City. The Royals add a shortstop with a bat into the lineup. Obviously isn't going to replace Bobby Witt Jr. at shortstop, so probably filling into a utility role for this team. But 18 home runs with a .228 average gets the guy in there. If you need somebody to plug a gap, that's pretty good. So there's some of the moves that got made at the deadline. We do know the Braves made the move for Jorge Soler to bring him back in, plug him back into the outfield. That would end up being the only move that the Braves ended up needing, or not needing, making, I guess is the right way to put that. Speaking of the Braves, let's go to item number 2. I hate that just Atlanta wins is a topic now, but it's a topic now. 5-1 winners yesterday over the Braves. Now, to be clear, to be fair, it's not that the Braves won, it's how the Braves won yesterday. 5-1 winners over the Brewers. The 5, maybe not super inspiring, right? Not a number that necessarily blows your mind. Here is what does. 14 hits collected by the Atlanta offense yesterday. 4 of 12 with runners in scoring position. They left 11 base runners on the bags in scoring position yesterday. What I am talking about here is that you're starting to see some names show back up. Matt Olson, still not one of them, 0 for 3, though he did draw a pair of free passes. Austin Riley was 4 of 5 yesterday. Kelenic, 2 of 3. Murphy, 2 of 5. Arcia, 2 of 5. Laureano, who is probably the guy that's going to be sent to the bench once Soler shows up and is ready, 1 of 4. Nacho Alvarez, 1 of 4 as well. The bats woke up a little bit yesterday. Does that mean they're going to stay hot? Yeah, let's not go crazy. But the Braves did put 14 on the bags yesterday. I'll take it. I'll take it. That's a step in the right direction. The only problem is that we've seen this story. Same old story, same old song and day yance of my friends. They got one every now and then. They got one now and then they go back to obscurity. Is this a run of consistency? Braves fans have to hope, because if it's not, this team is cooked. This team is cooked. I told you last Tuesday that by yesterday, this Atlanta Braves team would be out of the number 1 wild card spot. I told you last week that by yesterday, Atlanta would find themselves in a spot where they were looking at the number 2 wild card spot at best. I was right and wrong, because on Friday, the Braves actually trailed the New York Mets within that division. For one night, they did trail the New York Mets, which meant that they were the number 2 wild card spot. So I said this yesterday that I wasn't right, because yesterday morning, The Braves were one game up on the Padres in the wild card hunt. And I said, well, I'm not technically right, but I was right because they played more games. Except for, I forgot, I was right. Because for about 20 hours from Friday night into Saturday morning, the Braves were the number 2 wildcard spot. So I was right, technically and not technically at the same time, which is pretty impressive.
No.
Good clip. Too long. Good clip. That's Looney Tunes circa 1965 ballpark.
It's the first no I saw.
You've got the best no ever in there, man.
Nope.
Best no ever.
Nope.
Yes! Anyway, let's go on to item number 3. Olympics update. We had some winners yesterday. Simone Biles, the GOAT, is back. Now, 8 medals after the U.S. women's gymnastics team won gold in the team artistic competition yesterday. The 27-year-old finished with a score of 14.6. That put the U.S. in the gold medal position. They would stay in that spot with a final team total of 171.296, a full 2 points over silver medalist Italy, a 7-point gap between they and bronze medal winning Brasilia. It was the 4th time that the American women claimed gold in the event, but the first time since 2016. That won Simone Biles her 8th Olympic gold medal, making her the most decorated gymnast in American Olympic history. And here's the thing, she's not done. We still have the all-around, plus Simone Biles is still scheduled in not 1, not 2, but 3 more individual events at these 2024 Summer Games, meaning Simone Biles has a chance to get to as many as a dozen career Olympic medals by the end of these games. I would completely agree.
Oh, can you believe this? Go, USA!
Thank you, Ann Dart. As far as the medal counter goes right now, Team USA has now pulled away from the rest of the world. They have 6 more medals than France, who is second place in the medal count right now. We have 26. They have 20. Great Britain, 16. China, 15. Japan, 13. Italy, a dozen. 11 for Australia and South Korea. 6 for Canada. 4 for Brazil. Everyone with 3 or less. The U.S. does, however, trail in the gold medal count. We have 4 golds compared to 6 for France and Great Britain, 7 for China and Japan, 6 for the Aussies, 3 for Italy, 5 for South Korea. But we are dominating silver and bronze. We have 11 of each. The next closest team in the silver count is France with 9. The next closest in the bronze count is France and Great Britain, each with 5.
We still got track, Rob. So, I mean, we're going to pick up some medals in track for sure.
We are cleaning shop right now. Let's keep that up, shall we? Back after this on the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate.
PC.
All right, guys, quick reading. We're coming back. Stay right there. We'll talk some more baseball. pedigree dog
Yeah.
food. The Rob Brown Show back on your radio. It's the Fan Upstate. Robin Lonzo coming at you. Hey, coming up at 8 o'clock. I'm really excited about this because it's a dude who's had a stellar career, and I'm very, very excited to talk to him about it. Coming up on the show, Carolina Panther punter Johnny Hekker is going to join us. He joined the Panthers a couple of years ago, came over from the Rams, where my man was having himself quite the career before he got picked up by the Cats. Excited to talk to Johnny Hekker coming up at 8 a.m. as we get ready for Carolina Panther Fan Fest, which is tomorrow evening down there at Clemson at Memorial Stadium on the campus. Really excited to talk to Johnny Hekker coming up this morning at 8 o'clock in the a.m.
Yeah. So if you have any questions for a kicker,
Hey, punters are people too.
no,
Right.
they are. I mean, I'm sure a lot of the listeners have questions. So, I mean,
I know I do. 71307, the text line. Start your text with FAN, F-A-N, FAN, F-A-N, and we will read them on the air. Johnny Hekker joining us here in just a little over half an hour. I will also tell you that coming up in the next segment of the show, we'll get to that Don Munson interview that we did last night. Last week, the voice of the Clemson Tigers, Don Munson, was kind enough to join us last week live at ACC Media Days. Got to spend a few minutes with him. So coming up in the next segment, we will talk with Don Munson.
also continue to send suggestions about poster fathead type thing for me to take of Rob Saturday. If you have a 3D printer and you want to print out a bust of Rob, I will carry Rob's bust into the Star Awards. Absolutely.
I'm not going to lie. I kind of want you guys to do that. I really do. Yes, we are working on it. I don't know how I'm going to pull this off yet because I leave here today. I've got a noon appointment, and this is pretty cool. Yesterday I spoke with Drew Ingraham, who is the assistant athletic director over at Furman. Today at 4 o'clock, I'm headed over to Furman because Drew is going to give me a behind-the-scenes tour of the gym renovations that are going on right now at Furman. Furman's going to be playing their basketball downtown at the Well this year. They're going to play some college shooty hoops in the Well while they renovate the gym, bring it up to snuff, bring it up to standard. Drew's going to take me behind the scenes today. We'll get some video of it that we'll be able to post for you guys probably next week. You Furman fans will get your first inside look at what the new gymnasium is turning into. And I'm very excited about that. Then I'll leave there, head back to the Well because tonight, All Elite Wrestling Dynamite Collision taking place at the Well. Yesterday, if you missed it, had the opportunity to spend a few minutes with Orange Cassidy, All Elite Wrestling megastar, came into the studio and chatted with us for a little while. And it turns out, as cool of a dude in real life as he is on TV.
By the way, interaction with other people in the building, and they all pointed out how nice he was.
Super nice, man. Like, we were kind of worried because he's so Orange Cassidy. They were like, what if he's that way IRL, right? What if he's that way in real life? What if he's like his character who just we watched a clip of a interview he did not too long ago where the guy's like, all right, Orange, you lost the international title. You did this, you that. What's up next? And he looks at the guy and goes, I don't want to do this. And he just leaves. I'm like, oh, God, this is going to be tough. Wasn't. Dude was super nice, super thoughtful. It was great. So we appreciate that. I'll be headed over to the Well tonight for AEW Dynamite and Collision taking place at the Bon Secours Wellness Arena at 7:30. Then tomorrow, another very interesting day. We got the show in the AM, got another meeting after that at noon. And then I'll be headed down to Clemson for Carolina Panther Fan Fest. Diesel and I will be bringing you Wire to Wire live tomorrow. And I'm not going to promise anybody yet. I will say there is an ongoing conversation in the background with the Panthers to bring on a couple of very big guests on tomorrow's show for some long format interviews. So I'm really excited about that. Hopefully we will get Again, not going to promise anybody, but let's just say at least one person who is in a position of decision-making on Sundays. How's that?
But in the meantime, at 8 o'clock today, we got Johnny Hecker.
We do have Johnny Hecker coming up in half an hour, as a matter of fact. So, be a Panther Fan Fest. I don't know where I'm going to fit getting a fat head of my own head made between here and there, but I'm going to do everything in my power to make it happen.
I think we could pull it off. I do. And if need be, I might have a frame at home or something if I have to do it. But if we get it on the foam stock, it's pretty durable, and I won't have to touch wooden sticks. So I mean that will work great for me.
I'm working on it right now is all I'm saying.
But I will send you pictures of your picture in its own chair. I will absolutely do that.
That's all we need. Hey, Cinecroppy, move over a chair. Rob's head goes there. That's how that's going to roll. Can't wait for that. All right. So Carolina Panther Fan Fest coming up tomorrow evening. We will be live, Diesel and I, for Wire to Wire from 3 to 7 p.m. from Fan Fest. Looking forward to it. Should have some big name interviews for you. We'll talk to you a little bit about what we're seeing at practice. So here's what I got so far.
Are you going to be on stream?
I don't know is the answer. Probably.
Okay. Hopefully.
Probably.
Especially with the guests coming on and Diesel's beard out in the wild is an amazing thing. And if you can get that on
down
camera,
a bunch.
It still glistens.
It still
glistens. It glistens. It does. He's got product. I don't know what kind it is, but yeah.
So we will we'll be there live. I'm going to try to make sure that we are streaming. I will let you know. I'll be bringing all the equipment necessary. It's just a matter of can we get it up and running. We will let you know about that coming up. But what I will say is really excited about that. That's going to be a good time. So that's coming up tomorrow evening. Then AEW Wrestling tonight. We got FanFest tomorrow, and then I'm headed over to Atlanta again. If you missed it, off on Friday from the show. We will return on Monday, and because of all of you that are very upset with me, Monday, between Monday and until whatever day it is I leave for the wedding in late September, don't think we have another day off with the exception of Labor Day.
Labor Day. Yeah. You don't think. Okay.
I don't think.
That's good. Maybe a full week eventually.
What's Labor Day this year?
September 1st or 2nd or something like that.
Monday is the 2nd.
Yeah.
So it's got to be that day.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the fiance's birthday.
Wow. That works out really good.
That works out great.
Yeah.
That works out super great.
Yeah. Just tell her that you took the day off for her birthday.
I'm going to. And then she's going to go, yes, so did I, jackass. And I'm going to go, that's fair. That's fair. I appreciate that. We will be off on the 18th through 25th of September. That is wedding week. Are you writing that down so you remember it, or was my wedding date trending?
That is the first time you've told me the date. I've been asking you for months now, so now I have it.
Pretty sure that's the dates.
Oh,
I'll give you that.
Geez.
Pretty sure that's the dates. I'll know very soon. All right, here's what
I'm
we're
writing down. Maybe.
We're going to run to a break. When we come back here in a minute, Don Munson, voice of the Tigers, sat down for an interview with us last week at ACC Media Days. We will get that interview for you next. Johnny Hecker at 8 a.m., punter for the Carolina Panthers, joins us here on the show. We'll talk with Johnny Hecker at 8 a.m., and then it's just full tilt for the rest of the ride. Rob Brown, the Great Malonzo, and you. It is the Rob Brown Show on the Fan Upstate.
You're live.
All right, guys, one more read. Don Munson next. Stay right there.
Those might have been like 10 years old, though. I mean, you don't know.
Last Thursday was ACC Media Days. Actually, all last week was ACC Media Days, but last Thursday was Clemson Day at ACC Media Days. And I will tell you that, and I think Lonzo will back me up on this, Don Munson's one of the nicest people I've ever met.
Yeah, he absolutely
Don's great.
is.
I can text, I can call Don at any point. He'll answer the phone and answer any questions that I have for him. Don is GOAT. He's the best. Don Munson sat down with us last Thursday at ACC Media Days. We talked Clemson ball. We talked where Dabo is. We talked about this team as a whole. Here is last Thursday's interview with Clemson Tiger broadcaster, the voice of the Tigers, Don Munson.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Rob Brown Show on the Fan Upstate, and very pleased, as we are, this is like an annual tradition at this point, when we are joined by the voice of the Clemson Tigers, Mr. Don Munson, sits down with us at the table. What's up, big fella?
I'm glad that I can be an annual tradition. I'm very proud of that fact. Now, I just hope that it continues annually for a long period of time, my friend.
So you and
I'm
me
not
both.
done yet.
You and me both, my man. Although it's interesting because I'll tell you what the scallywag down here in Radio Pit has been. Folks are nervous about this conference. Now, I know that we're going to talk some football, but can I just get your thoughts on everything that's going on? Obviously, being a part of the university that is kind of in the midst of the fire of
Sure.
all this with Clemson, with the lawsuits and everything, can I just ask for your general sense on where Clemson is, where this whole expansion situation is, et cetera, et cetera?
Well, first and foremost, I will tell you that whatever is going to happen in college football, and I still think we're a little bit of ways from really knowing what's going to happen. But like 5 years from now, no matter what has happened, because there's going to be a reshuffling. 5 years from now, if you and I are sitting at this table, which I'm planning on doing, all right, there will be an annual event still in 5 years.
Fingers crossed, bud.
That it'll be interesting to see how it has all played out. But I can tell you, no matter how it has played out, Clemson will be a part of the upper echelon of the sport in college football. So that part of it doesn't concern me at all. But I'm just like you. There is some uncertainness. But you know what? Uncertainty can be a bad thing, or you can use it as a positive. And so I think what Clemson has done is been able, the powers that be, the leader in Graham Neff, is that, yes, there is a lot of questions, but I love the way that he has approached going about doing what Clemson is doing and trying to find out exactly what are their opportunities, not only inside this league, but possibly outside the league. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
I have been telling folks for a while, especially when folks are talking about being nervous and apprehensive about what's next. At the end of the day, college football is college football. We all love it. We're not going to stop watching them run down the hill. We're not going to stop tailgating outside Death Valley. We're not going to stop doing these things. I understand the apprehension, Don, but there are things that make college football special to all of us,
no
and those aren't
doubt.
going anywhere.
No doubt. The pageantry is still always going to be there. I know that people don't like the fact that what's happening now with players being paid, that they don't like that it's becoming more of a professional brand of what. But you know what? To me, that is the fault of the powers that be, that because they had an opportunity to do things years ago, probably do it the right way, the way that it should have been done, and included the student athlete much more so than they did. But because they ostracized them, they came back to haunt them. So that goes back to leadership. And so hopefully right now what we have is the leadership that is within not just football, but in all sports, that it understands maybe what the landscape actually is. And let's start doing the right things in the sport.
Don Munson, voice of the Tigers, here on the Rob Brown Show on the Fan Upstate. Speaking of leadership, let's talk about Dabo Swinney here for just a minute. And I'll be candid with you. This is what I've been saying. This feels like a referendum year. The horse has been beaten to the ground about Clemson being one of three teams, the other two being academies with no portal players. And my thought has been, listen, I think Dabo Swinney has more than earned the right to run this program the way that he sees fit. I also think fans have the right, if it doesn't go to meet the Clemson standard this year, to start maybe having a bit of a conversation. And obviously, Dabo Swinney bringing multiple rings to Clemson, to me, like I said, has free reign to run it how he wants. But does it feel like there's a little additional pressure on this season more so than maybe the last one or two?
I would say from the outside that's probably a correct statement that there is, but I would say inside the program, no. That they feel like that they're going about and doing things the way they feel like it can be successful. I think what people fail to realize is that as far as just turnover on the roster the last several years, there hasn't been a tremendous turnover of the roster. There just has not been. Players have elected to come back and finish out a fourth or even fifth, sixth year thanks to COVID. And so because of that has been their transfer portal. So now when COVID is done, and this is the last year that you'll have the COVID, so then going forward, how is it going to play out? Of course, going forward, they may have 105 scholarships, and there will be no walk-on players. There'll be 105 guys. And Coach Swinney has already been quoted here today, talking about, you let us go to 105 scholarships. You think that the transfer portal was active then, wait till you see what it's going to be. And he's right. It is going to be active. But I kind of like the way that he's gone about doing it. I like the development of players. I like the development of the program and doing it that way. And I think that this year that Coach Swinney is going to show that, you know what, his way is a way that can be. It's not the only way, but it is a way that can be successful.
It's interesting, Don Munson, because you look at what Mike Norvell's been doing down there at Florida State. This is a team that has lived in the portal, had obviously great success with it last year, winning the division. So you've kind of got two programs that are doing the exact opposite in terms of the end of the spectrum on where they rely. And yet here they are being voted 1 and 2, pick your poison, to go to the ACC championship in December.
It's interesting, Rob, because I think that a lot of people will sit back and they'll say, well, this is all brand new to the game. Let me take you back to 1976, okay? You weren't even born yet.
I don't know if my parents had met yet, Don.
So 1976, I'm 14. But 1976 was the first year college football goes to 105 scholarships. Prior to that, there had not been a limit on your roster size. So that means in the old days, Bear Bryant, he may have 200 guys on scholarship. Now, where's he going to play 200 guys? No, he wasn't. And then were guys going to transfer out? Probably not, because they had to sit out a year. There was also a punishment for sitting out a year. Jackie Sherrill in 1973 1976, his signing class was 73 players. Now, that was the class that brought Tony Dorsett. That was the class that Tony Dorsett was part of, and so you take a look at that. They eventually won a national championship but that's just because that was the way that it was then. So it's not that big. We go back to people talk about super conferences. Go back and study the history of the Southern Conference. In the 1920s, it was 24 teams. There was already a super conference. It had already proven itself out. So I think a lot of people think that this stuff is new. It's not, and it becomes secular, is what it does. And so I think that's the part that all of us have to kind of realize is what part of the circle are we in right now? Are we at the top of the circle? Are we at the bottom of the circle? Are we on the side of the circle? We're somewhere on this circle. We just got to figure out where we are.
Don Munson, voice of the Clemson Tigers, here on the Rob Brown Show on the Fan Upstate. All right, now let's get to the fun part. Let's talk some football. Let's start with Cade Klubnik. I'm looking forward to talk to this young man. I've had the opportunity to interview him a couple of times. Hard guy not to root for.
Sure.
Got that. One of my friends earlier described him as big golden retriever energy, and he does. He kind of has that energy to him that makes guys, I think, want to connect. But obviously the discussion has been about development and his ability to enhance his game and be ready to go this year. Can you give us some clues into the mentality of Cade Klubnik, the development this offseason as far as getting prepared for what does feel like a higher pressure season for him and the Tigers?
Yeah, it's funny you said there's my 2-year-old
there's the old golden retriever.
Golden retriever right there, Gracie, that we have. And believe me, there's plenty of energy and there's plenty of power that is. And you're right. He is something that, and I think that, you go back to last year and people complaining about Klubnik, and then the people that they're complaining and trying to compare him to have been guys that have been checking up under center and starting at programs for 3, sometimes 4 years. Now, not always at the same program, but have at least have 3 or 4 years of playing experience and starting experience under their belt. But, that wasn't Cade. So now as Cade moves into year number 2 as a starting quarterback, you expect improvement. you expect improvement when he starts year number 3 and hopefully year number 4 as well. So we're watching a young man grow up in front of us, and I think that he has made really good strides going into the season. And I think that the pieces of the puzzle, again, we've talked a little bit about that, the pieces of the puzzle around him are better. I mean, they just are. And offensive line is going to be better. I think just having one running back really behind you for probably 75 or 80% of the time, and Maffa is going to make things easier for him. And I also think that, defensively, Clemson was pretty stout last year, but I think they're going to be really, really good this year. And I know that offensively that you're going to have to score necessarily a ton of points. You better score at least 25 every game, right? If you go back and you just look at last year, had Clemson been able to, in regulation, just been able to score 25 points in every game, I think that they would have been 10-2. Well, 10-2 is woefully different than going 9-4. It just is. If you're able to do those things, and I think that that's where Klubnik can take this offense, it's where he wants to take the offense, and it's certainly where Coach Sweeney expects the offense to go. Clemson also, yards per attempt, yards per play, those numbers definitely have to come up if you're going to compete at the highest level, which is where Clemson wants to be.
Speaking of the highest level, and I do want to circle back around and talk about Phil Maffa and this offensive wide receiver core, but that game 1 against Georgia, I've said a couple of times, I can't remember the last time Clemson was not just a dog, but a double-digit dog. That's a real good Georgia team.
Alabama 2018.
And that was it. So that game, I've heard a lot of people talking about, it's less about a win or loss and more about giving Clemson the opportunity to identify themselves, to say this is the type of team we are, facing adversity, facing a great team, this is who we are. And that's not to say Clemson can't win the game, but I think it is an opportunity to establish what the identity of this team is out of the gate. What is your hope to see out of Clemson? What do you want to see in that first game against Georgia?
Oh, I just want to see them go out and compete. I just want to see them to go out and be able to be toe-to-toe with Georgia, because if they're toe-to-toe with Georgia, then the rest of the season shouldn't be a problem. And I think that will benefit them then come towards the end of the season as well. And I also want to see them beat Georgia. I think this is a Clemson team that can win against Georgia. Georgia's got a lot of pieces of the puzzle now they have to play. Now they got a great quarterback that's returning, and that helps. Defensively, they're going to be really good, but they've lost some pieces over there just like Clemson has. But, I want to see them go out to compete. I'd love to see them be able to win a close game and act probably, what I'd really like to see them do it is win it close with a special teams play, having a field goal kicker knock one through the pipes at the gun or something like that, or right at the end, because I think that would also give the entire team just a big, big boost from there. People have not talked about special teams with Clemson. Kicking game, particularly field goal kicking and extra points, is going to be a big part for Clemson's success or non-success this year.
Tom Munson, voice of the Clemson Tigers, here on the Rob Brown Show and the Fan Upstate. Talk to me about Phil Maffa. We saw his, whatever you want to call it, explosion in the bowl game, and I've heard nothing but good things at Media to Open House a couple of weeks ago. Dabo went on about him, and he should. We've seen this kid be able to run with power. We've seen him be able to turn up an angle when he needs to. Now it's just a matter of, can you be that number one guy? Can he be that number one guy?
Yeah, I think that he can. He only had 97 carries, I think, all of last year. That's going to double for him. I mean, he's going to probably get 180 carries, 160 to 180 carries would be my guess. So, and he almost rushed for 1,000 yards last year on just the 97. So, I think that he can be a guy that could. I mean, if things go really, really well for Maffa, I could see him being in Heisman, kind of competition, because if they go well for Maffa, it's going to go well for Clemson. I mean, it just is. Those two are going to go hand in hand. But Maffa can be the difference maker not only in this league, but I think he can be a difference maker on a national scene. Really excited about what he brings, but there has to be somebody that comes behind him. It just can't be just a one pony show. That stable has got to come with two or three other guys that can step up. August is going to be big for that. Not going to say the Georgia game is going to be big for that. We'll get a taste a little bit, but then as you work your way through the rest of the month of September, there has to be another back or two that steps up.
Talk to me about this wide receiver unit, because this is one that has been, had a number of years where Clemson was in the running for wide receiver
Sure.
and had a lot of youth come through there, some guys that maybe didn't develop the way you wanted to. What are you looking for out of the wide receiver unit that's going to be helping out Cade Klubnik this year?
Well, everybody certainly is excited about the two freshmen that have stepped on campus. We've had one that's been here since January, obviously one that just enrolled in TJ. So you got to figure out what's their impact going to be. Then you have to go back and all right, what's returning? Got two guys that are coming off of injury in Turner and Williams that are both coming back. Both those guys have to perform at a high level. Both of those guys have to stay healthy, have to stay on the field. The best ability is availability. So you've got to be able to do that. And then I think that K just has to get comfortable with what he is in the pocket and making reads that are, that are the first and foremost that are the proper read. There are some things that are just given in Garrett Riley's offense. And sometimes you have to take that. There are other times where maybe you maybe have to force something. I don't think that Clemson is going to be – I think that Clemson will have more big play strikeability and more downfield strikeability this year. But I don't think it just all comes from the wide receivers. I think that Brenningstool is a guy that features in that. And I think that Brenningstool at tight end, you can call him a wide receiver because he's really kind of a mix of the two. But I think that Brenningstool has the opportunity to be dynamic in this offense, which is different than where he was last year. I think he has a chance to make a big step forward. And, boy, if he does become dynamic, then that creates all kinds of problems for defensive coordinator.
All right, last one, and we'll let you continue this car wash that you're on, hitting every table. I've said to Clemson fans on the show the last couple of months, I want them to define success because I think the end of this year is a good opportunity to say we met or we did not meet. And obviously success is a subjective measurement. So to Don Munson, this season will be considered successful if fill in the blank.
Oh, I think, I think that all of us would agree this season will be a success if Clemson, what's the high water mark obviously is winning out, but I would probably think that the most people, it's a success if they make the playoffs, to be honest with you. You got to be one of 12 teams to make the playoffs. That's the expectation that Coach Sweeney has for the program, for the team, for himself and the staff. So I don't know why that shouldn't be all of our expectations. See if they can't make it to the playoffs. Well, you'd love to see them win a game. Obviously, you want to play for it all. That's the ultimate, is to go and play for it all. When you're playing for it all 4 times in 5 years, you get used to that. You maybe take it a little bit for granted. I think that all of us have learned it wasn't as easy as maybe we all thought, that it is difficult. But, boy, it sure would be fun once again to have an opportunity to bring a golden scepter back to Clemson.
Don Munson is the voice of the Clemson Tigers here on the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate. Man, I know you're busy at media days, and I know with just a couple of weeks till the season started, that's not going to get easier on you. But when you're ready to go play some golf, you let me know.
Oh, I'm in. My motto, Rob, is have clubs will travel. There's still some golf in my future before it all gets said and done.
Let's book it. Let's make it happen.
All
Don,
right,
thank you very much, my man.
All right.
Don Munson, voice of the Clemson Tigers here on the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate.
Atlanta. Let's go to Atlanta. After dropping the series opening against the Brewers, the Braves picked up a 5-1 win yesterday behind Bryce Elder, who surrendered 5 hits through 6.1 innings, striking out 7. Atlanta's offense collected 14 hits, including 2 from Jared Kalenic, Sean Murphy, Eddie Rosario, and a 4-for-5 day from Austin Riley. Atlanta is now 57-49. U.S. gymnast Simone Biles returned to the top of the medal stand after helping Team USA win gold in the women's artistic all-around. The gold is Biles' 5th and 8th overall, making her the most decorated American Olympic gymnast in history. Make sure you tune in this afternoon from 3 to 7 p.m. for our brand new local show, Wire to Wire. Cole, Bryson, and Dees will get you up to date on the latest local and national sports news. Great guests, great debate, and, of course, a whole lot of fun. That's all, Wire to Wire.
Diggs, what's up, big dog?
Rob Brown Show. Hey. Okay, that's cool. We'll work him in whenever he gets here. All right, thank you. Bye. I love being called Rob. He's still in meetings,
Okay.
so he's going to call as soon as he. Well, you heard.
Yeah.
That works out since we're running a little late. So.
Favorite account on Instagram right now is photoshopping Snoop's head onto various Olympic athletes competing, and they're absolutely hilarious.
It's disturbing, man.
Yeah, I know, it's my favorite thing.
Hey, Big Daddy, how you doing?
Real good, Corey LaJoy. Thanks for asking. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. The third hour of the Rob Brown Show is underway. Great to have you. I am Rob Brown, the great one, Lonzo, on the ones and the twos this morning. Be a part of the program, 844-326-3663, 844-FANFONE. You can shoot us a text on the text line, 71307, 71307 is that number. That is the text line. Start your text with FAN, F-A-N. We will read them on the air. Also, hit us up on X at The Rob Brown Show, at Lonzo on Word, and at The Fan Upstate. If you want to get to everybody this morning, you're welcome to do so. Johnny Hacker, punter of the Carolina Panthers, will be joining us hopefully here in just mere minutes. Apparently, some guy named Dave needed him in some meetings that are running a little bit long. So I don't know who the hell this Dave guy thinks he is. That's bigger than us. That's bigger than the show.
Well, he is. So yeah. So he's in meetings. I don't know how many people. I guess it's the entire special teams, or is it just the kickers? I don't know.
Don't know.
We'll have to ask him when he gets in.
Some guy named Dave told the 6'5", 225-inch punter that he had to go to these meetings before he could jump on the radio show. And I'm a little bit offended by that, but we'll get over it. We'll get over it. So we'll get Johnny here in just minutes from now. Coming up in this hour of the show, we're going to respond to some of the things that Don Munson, the voice of the Clemson Tigers, dropped on us in that interview we just aired for you in the last segment. So Lonzo and I will give you some of our thoughts on what Don Munson had to say just a few minutes ago, and we look forward to that. We have got some preview as the Carolina Panthers will be hosting Panther Fan Fest tomorrow night.
It's usually how it works. Panthers having Panther Fest.
It'd be a little awkward if the Panthers hosted like Bills Fan Fest. I'm not going to disagree with that.
Who would want to do that?
Well, I'll tell you what. It is Panther Fan Fest. That is taking place tomorrow. Memorial Stadium. Death Valley, as they call it. Death Valley North, as Lonzo calls it sometimes. That is taking place tomorrow down in Clemson. We'll be there. I'll be broadcasting live alongside Diesel for Wire to Wire from 3 to 7. Somebody else that is going to be there tomorrow, I assume it is practice time. Training camp underway. The punter for the Carolina Panthers, Johnny Hekker, joins us on the show. Johnny, what's up, big dog? Welcome to the show, man. Great to have you.
Hey, you guys. Thanks for having me. This is a pleasure and a privilege. Excited to be here. Thanks for having me. It's awesome. Pumper Fan Fest tomorrow. Panthers Fan Fest, of course.
Man, listen, you are. Is it weird to be probably the only guy on the team that no fan wants to see play?
You know what? It's a gift and a curse. You know, I love getting to be on the field and have an impact on the game, but I even love it even more when all I do is get to hold PATs and field goals and sit on the bench. So a 0-punt game is the goal.
I love it. Johnny Hekker, punter for the Carolina Panthers here on the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate.
All right. You know what? I've always wanted to ask this of an NFL punter. So what's it like when someone gets through and you see and you got to get the ball right, the speed of the NFL? Can you describe how quick it happens when someone gets through and how fast you have to get the ball off?
It is a scary sight. You definitely, a lot of times though, I don't really notice them until after I've kicked the ball. If someone's really close. If it happens before I'm able to kick the ball and I see them coming through, that's usually a very, very bad sign. Something's gone terribly wrong at that point. I need to kind of make a contingency plan of, do I try and punt it? Do I try and evade and throw it away or something? Or, you got to just avoid the catastrophe. But usually I'm so focused and locked in on the football that I don't notice those guys. That's why we work so hard during practice to make sure that everyone knows their assignment. So that way I just stay clean in the pocket, baby.
I was going to say, in your case though, it's pass first before run, right?
True. Yes, exactly. Yeah. My running prowess is not as well known. So, throwing the ball works better for me.
Let me ask you this. Amongst punters around the league, are there certain guys as kick rushers, as blockers, are there certain guys y'all are aware of? Like in these meetings, are you like, all right, when we go punt, eyes up on 92, he's their best guy? Like, are there guys across the league that are kind of known as the one that kickers need to be most aware of?
For sure. And every team's got one or two rush threats, guys that they put in situations where, okay, they are for sure rushing this. We got to know how to stop this guy. There are plenty of those guys all across the league, and every special teams coach loses a little bit of sleep thinking about their guys having to block them. But the good thing is we have a few of those on our team too, so it's good to always have a few that you need. But there are definitely guys that when I see them in our formation, I'm usually just listening in for the punt protection to make sure that they're doing the right thing and doing what they got to do. But our guys are on top of it, so it's fun as a punter. I try and worry more about the returner, but those rush guys sometimes do get your attention.
Johnny Hekker, punter for the Carolina Panthers, joining us as we get set for Panther Fan Fest tomorrow evening down at Memorial Stadium at Clemson. Johnny, let's talk football. Let's talk about the Panthers here for just a minute. Obviously, a team that over the last couple of years has had quite a bit of turnover. Dave Canales comes in as the new head coach after everything that went down last year. Can you, as somebody who is obviously in the locker room, part of the locker room, but I think you guys on special teams kind of have a unique perspective on the atmosphere around the team. Can you talk to us a little bit about the mentality, the locker room mentality of this team as we get set for Dave Canales year one?
Yeah, I think this team is all about work. We have a lot to prove and a lot to, improve on and just show for our fans and the people that have supported us through a little bit of a lull, for lack of a better term. But I think that Coach Canales, he's very detail oriented, very effort oriented, making sure that we're working smart, working the right way. But when we go, we're going. And as a team, we brought in a lot of guys from around the league that have done things at a high level. I'm really happy with the new acquisitions that we've had, kind of beefing up the line, going and getting some other veterans from other teams that, are just going to be awesome assets to our locker room and to our production on the field. So it's fun to, have a new kind of young, hungry coaching staff that's also, freckled, if you will. I'm not sure, it just has a lot of experienced coaches and veterans in the game kind of mixed in there, to provide some wisdom and some kind of been there, done that aspect to it. But Coach Canales is hungry and excited, and we're just feeding off that energy and just working, man. This is the time of the season to try new things and kind of hone down our terminology and everything we're trying to do. So it's fun. Training camp is a grind, but it's been a really fun one this time.
Speaking of training camp, which do you prefer, going away? For a long time, training camp was here in Spartanburg at Wofford, and now you guys are at home. Which is better for you? Do you like going away and getting away from everything in Charlotte, or do you like it being close to home?
Yeah, there's pros and cons to both for sure. I loved Spartanburg. The staff at Wofford treated us so well, took great care of us. There's a wing spot, TNT Wings, there in Spartanburg that I miss very dearly. But it's also been very nice to be home. The vets 4 years and over are getting to stay at home, so I get to be home for dinner time and bedtime with my kids. That you can never get enough of. So that's been really special to have. Just have the comfort of your own bed instead of a dorm bed has been nice. But this training camp has been a good one. We're loving kind of being at home in our rhythm here in the stadium and at our practice fields, and having some fan turnout in Charlotte. It's been great. So we're enjoying it. We definitely do miss Spartanburg. It's going to be nice to get back down there and get to Clemson. It'll be my first time experiencing Death Valley and seeing the stadium, so I'm excited for that as well. It's a fun experience.
Tell you the amount of respect I have for a guy that comes on and doesn't just say, I miss it because I had a wing spot, but has the wing spot by name memorized. Johnny Hekker, that's incredible. Well done. What was the go-to wing order for Johnny Hekker?
Oh, man, the lemon pepper wings were crazy. I'd get some of those and some of the hots. And then they had a seasoned fry. That was also really good. I mean, you could never order enough of the wings. You'd get them, and everyone would see you with the white box, and they knew what was up.
That's an untouchable answer. Let me ask you this. As far as, and Lonzo and I, big food guys, every time we have pro athletes on, we like to ask some variation of this question. But for Johnny Hekker, who goes 6'5", 225, and as punters go, and I say this with respect to every other punter around the league, please don't hurt me, Pat McAfee, to keep in shape, what is the average daily caloric intake? What's the average eat and workout day for Johnny Hekker?
Oh man, I'm one of those guys that the more I work out, the more I love to just justify eating just ridiculous stuff. But,
he gets it.
But I think, I have a bone to pick with whoever's doing our rosters, because I have not been 225 for a while. Much bigger than that.
I was going to say, which direction are we talking here? All right.
I'm up. I'm like 245. So I haven't been 225 probably since my rookie year. So that's an interesting omission there, but it's fun. They're trying to keep me slender.
I'm going to edit your Wikipedia page the minute this interview's over, Johnny.
Thank you so much. But yeah, caloric intake, I can't give you a real number. I just try and keep it smart. Eat less than I'm expending. Sometimes, especially even during training camp, those numbers can be shockingly low for expenditure. I'm walking around watching a lot of practice, not really doing the heavy hitting, fast running stuff. But our team chef here definitely gives me plenty of amazing options. Chef Tracy is the best.
We are talking with Johnny Hekker. He's the punter for the Carolina Panthers as we get set for Panther Fan Fest tomorrow night at Clemson. I will be there live with Diesel doing Wire to Wire from 3 to 7 p.m. We look forward to seeing all of y'all out there as well. Johnny, obviously when we talk football, this is a team that I'm optimistic about. Probably the most optimistic I've been about this team in a very long time. And obviously, we all talk about offense, we all talk about defense, and for whatever reason, special teams is always kind of left off to the side as one of the most impactful squads you can have that makes up the team at large. Talk to me a little bit about the growth and the development of Panther special teams this offseason, because I expect you guys have an immense role to play in a team that I absolutely think has an upward trajectory, but it's obviously in a bit of a transition phase with a brand new head coach. Talk to me about the development of the special teams so far this offseason.
Yeah, I mean, it's what I say, attitude reflects leadership, and Coach Canales has put a premium on allowing us meeting time, plenty of practice time, to get our technique, to get our scheme, to get everything right, to make sure that we're communicating at a high level. And Coach Tracy Smith has been awesome. Him and Darren Bates, our assistant special teams coach, have been direct, open, and honest with their expectations and with just how they want to see us practice, how they want to see us play. And then the rest is really on players to kind of police and patrol effort, execution, communication. And, we have a lot of veterans and guys that have played on a high level of special teams capacity. We have some guys that are, going to be asked to really pick and choose. Like, we're going to give you 1 or 2 phases. You got to just excel in those things. And then we're going to have a lot of guys that are 4-phase core special teamers to our team that, have done it in the past for the Panthers. Some guys that have done it for other teams they've been on. And it's really just been an awesome kind of collaboration. Tracy's got new terminology from our past coach and new ways of seeing things. So we can kind of bring our past experience mixed with, how he wants to operate and do things. And he's been collaborative and open to our suggestions and things that we've done in the past. And so it's been a fun kind of melding of worlds. And we're gonna just do our best to be productive. And every team that wins a lot of games, you have a few sprinkled in there where special teams is a huge part of that. So we want to be an asset to our team and really be attacking in what we do.
Johnny Hekker, punter from the Carolina Panthers, here on the Rob Brown Show on the Fan Upstate. I know this isn't necessarily directly your department, but I also know kickers travel in a clique. Why not look after the boys? You don't have to give me the specifics, but with the new kickoff rule, is there some level of thought behind experimentation in different ways to organize kickoffs with the new rules? Is there any thought as to let's try different looks, let's try different personnel, et cetera, to try to come up with some creative way maybe other teams haven't come up with yet? Or are you guys kind of looking at what has been done in the USFL, USL, XFL, et cetera, and just kind of running some standard as those guys go, new kickoff models? How is the special teams unit approaching a new kickoff type that I'm assuming the majority of guys on the roster have not had to go through before?
Yeah, it is interesting to say the least. It's a lot of let's kind of wait and find out how this thing's going to go. I think every coordinator is going to be sitting very intently watching the Hall of Fame game, saying, okay, let's see what these two teams are doing first and foremost and see how that matches up with what we're doing, because it's a lot of we know the parameters of the rules. We know, kind of how we have to operate and where we have to line up. But it's been interesting. There's a lot of tinkering, a lot of experimentation, but that's when it's great to have a coach that's really heavy on fundamentals and techniques and just, okay, here's how we're going to do what we're going to do. Eventually you're all going to be, lines on a field for the diagram of the play. But, right now it's just, let's be somewhat creative in what we're doing. Let's have a few multiple calls, and then let's have a couple of different kicks. If we want to kick it deep, we can. If we want to try and squib one, the landing zone rules are going to make that pretty interesting and difficult. So it's going to be a little bit of a dice roll for a few teams, but we'll see how it all works out. It's all a lot of let's wait and see how other teams are doing it, and then there's going to be a lot of adjustments, I think, made within these first few weeks of preseason and even early on in the season.
I haven't heard anyone mention this as far as are there rumblings around special teams about this change? I mean, are players embracing it, or I get you don't have a choice, but is anyone really happy about this?
I think most people are pretty positively, kind of slanted towards it, just because it's taking a lot of the high speed running out, a lot of the big collisions that you'll see on the back end, kind of turns the play into a bit more of like a punt return where everyone's kind of running the same direction. There's not a ton of this guy has a 40-yard head start and this guy's just standing there, got to lower his shoulder and kind of lower his head and dip into a contact. So I think it's going to be a better play for player safety. There's going to be a lot more returns with the different kind of touchback and landing zone rules that they've put into the play. And it's going to look totally different. So a lot of people are going to turn on their TV and go, what the heck is this? But it's, I think, overall going to be great for return percentage, which is, a good thing for special teams coaches to have a lot, more film. The kickoff has kind of been somewhat of a dying play the last almost decade, you'd say, with rule changes and trying to eliminate the injuries that occur in that play. So it's hopefully a step in the right direction for the health of players, and then overall entertainment value. I think is going to be a good boost to the game as well.
Johnny Hekker, punter for the Panthers, here on the show. Let's talk very quickly, Johnny, about FanFest tomorrow. Obviously, you guys back in Charlotte, we've seen, at least I've been told, we've seen a pretty good increase in the number of fans that are coming out to practice. The upstate of South Carolina, very excited to have you guys down here. How big is it for players to see that level of fan support out of Panther fans during the offseason when you guys are getting in shape, getting ready to go for preseason a week from tomorrow? And when you're down here at Clemson, if that stadium is packed full of fans wearing silver and blue, what does that do for you guys as a team?
You love it. I mean, we play a game and it's an entertainment business. So when you have a bigger crowd, it definitely gets you a little more amped up, gets the juice flowing, gets people, more excited for practices, for playing games. So to know that their fans are taking time out of their day, we're practicing somewhat early in the morning now to try and beat the heat, and to have people, taking time off of work, bringing their kids, all that stuff means so much to us. So it's something that when we see that support, it just gives us that little bit of juice to dig down deeper, work a little bit harder, and try and, develop a strong product for them to be really proud of, and just watch a team kind of on the rise.
Johnny Hekker, punter for the Panthers. And Johnny, I've been told you have invited, and I think this is fantastic, a number of special teams, Olympians and athletes and competitors to come out to camp. What's the reasoning behind that?
Yeah, so Special Olympics is an organization that I've partnered with for a long time, and I'm proud to call myself a fan of what they do. Their organization does an amazing job of blending sports with engagement and just uplifting of community in need. I think athletes with special needs deserve and are awesome competitors that compete and have fun. And it's just an organization that I've seen change lives of many people. And every event that I've gone to that Special Olympics has run has left me with just a thankful heart, and just watching the skill, competition, and sportsmanship of the athletes is something that once you experience it, you never step away from it and don't want more. So I'm just honored to kind of be an ambassador for Special Olympics, and to have Special Olympics athletes there is going to mean a lot to myself and my teammates.
Johnny Hekker, punter for the Carolina Panthers. And by the way, don't think we missed the "Remember the Titans" quote you dropped on us a minute ago. That's how I know he is a dude. Johnny Hekker, punter for the Carolina Panthers, here on the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate. Panther Fan Fest is tomorrow at Death Valley in Clemson. It's going to be all day. Looking forward to the practice. Kicks off at 6:30. We'll be live there from 3 to 7 with Wire to Wire with myself and Diesel. Johnny, my man, awesome to have you on the show, bud. Great stuff. We should do it again sometime, man.
You got it, guys. Rob Diesel, thank you guys so much. See you all at Fan Fest.
You got it, brother. Johnny Hekker, punter for the Carolina Panthers, here on the Rob Brown Show and the Fan Upstate. Yeah, sorry, Zoe. I caught that too.
Well, it's because
I said it 3 times.
Yeah, and you never mentioned my name.
I thought you would have mentioned your name. You didn't say, "Hey, I'm Lonzo."
Yeah, I don't know how to properly interview someone. So, what can I say?
Thanks to Johnny Hekker. Thanks to the folks at the Panthers for setting that up. Also, are expecting to have a couple of guests on that show tomorrow with Rob and Lonzo, Wire to Wire, 3 to 7 from Panther Fan Fest. Back after this on the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate.
Say, I wasn't offended. I knew he was going to do it because you said the name a bunch of times. I've decided since I'm Diesel, I'm leaving because I'm not supposed to be here. New life in the next break.
So Garrett Cole for the Yankees was supposed to pitch yesterday evening, and the Yankees announced a couple of hours before the game that Garrett Cole would not be making his scheduled start. He was listed as out, suffering with general body fatigue. I very much wish that was an excuse that we got to occasionally roll out. Hey, boss, I'm out tomorrow. General body fatigue. I will also tell you, and I probably should not, but I'm going to anyway. I have an issue with my life right now. With my life, y'all know I am originally from Louisiana. I've grown up on seafood.
Nuh-uh.
I know. It's a little known secret about me. I do keep some secrets from you. I am from Louisiana, New Orleans, Louisiana specifically. I've grown up around seafood. I was brought up at oyster shucks and crawfish boils and with grouper pontchartrain, my favorite meal of all time. I'm a seafood guy. And obviously, oysters way at the top of the list for me. Way at the top of the list for me. Well, I got here, and I don't know if it's like, things just change as you age. Lonzo and I were having this discussion before the show. Things about your life they just become different. And it's just like, that's a thing you can't do anymore. Or that's a thing that happens all the time now. So about a year and a half ago, I went, as I have done many times throughout my life, and I went and I got a dozen raw oysters. I love raw oysters. Love raw oysters. I went and got a dozen raw oysters. And
you said about a year and a half ago. You mean, okay.
So this is part of the story.
Okay, all right.
But a year and a half ago, I went and got a dozen raw oysters. And the next day, your boy, let's just say, was confined to one room of the Casa de Love for a little bit longer than I would have liked. And I thought, probably got a bad oyster, right? Probably got a bad oyster. So then, a couple of months later, because it's a once every now and then treat, A couple of months later, got it again, happen again. And the fiance, the girlfriend at the time, looks at me and she said, Are you allergic to oysters? And I said, no, I've been eating them quite literally my entire life. My entire life, I've been eating them. So no. And then I got more oysters, and it happened again. Well, yesterday, because I can have raw oysters. Yesterday, I decided on my way home there was a little local seafood joint that I've never been to before. And I went and I sat down, and the young lady working the bar, because I was sitting at the bar, she said, hey, FYI, Tuesdays are half-price oyster day. Half-price oysters. That's the greatest sentence anyone has ever said to me. Yes, I would like a dozen raw oysters, please. And I had a dozen raw oysters. And then I went home. And then about an hour and a half later, I went, uh-oh. And was once again mandated to head into that particular room in the Casa. And I was in that room in the Casa.
The throne room.
The throne room.
Yes.
I was in the throne room having assumed the position from about yesterday, from about 1 o'clock in the afternoon until I had a 2:30 meeting that I arrived at 2:45 for, not by my own choice. And then I got to that meeting and I told the individual having that meeting, hey, I need you to wrap this up immediately. I need you to wrap this up now. By the way, I'm sitting next to this person and I texted them. I'm like, you need to wrap this up now. They're like, why? And I said, I can't tell you right now. Just know you got to wrap this up right now. So he wrapped it up. I headed back to the house. I was back in the throne room in the assumed position from about 3:30 yesterday afternoon until about 8:15 last night. Lonzo, you ever sat on the commode so long that your legs fall asleep?
Yeah, it happens all the time for me. So
Yeah. Doesn't happen all the time for me yesterday. Happened thrice yesterday.
I'm heavier than you, so it probably happens more to heavier people.
Maybe so. I don't know. Happened to me 3 times yesterday. I went, gotta get, whoa. Had to hit the legs to get the blood flow.
Thank you.
going.
I was going to explain you were hitting your leg, just in case people were wondering what that was.
Had to frog myself.
You probably shouldn't do that because you can't really feel what you're doing.
Nope.
And you may do some damage.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But I went to
just get past the pins and needles. Eventually it'll go away.
I'm not exaggerating. 6 cumulative hours of my life yesterday were spent sitting on said throne. Well, we got about halfway through that interview in the last segment, and I went, uh-oh, here we go again.
Well, don't look next time. Don't look at me and see if I have any more questions. Just wave me off.
No, like
I'm good.
Listen, I'm a professional. We get the punter of the Carolina Panthers. I'm getting through it. I'm getting through it. If I got to go downstairs and grab pants out of the car, I'm getting through the interview. All right.
I could have finished the interview. You had him thinking I was Diesel, so I could have said anything.
No.
So it would have been fine, and Diesel would have got blamed for it.
Listen, I don't take the job for granted. You get a chance to talk to an NFLer, you talk to the NFLer. All right. Speaking of, there was a guy in Tennessee who got to talk to an NFL yesterday. We're going to talk about that in a minute because it was pretty spectacular. I was finishing that interview even if I had to change pants when it was over. All right. But my favorite part was if you watch the stream at facebook.com/thefanupstate, the Fan Upstate on YouTube, the Rob Brown Show on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. As we're doing the interview about halfway through, I hit that moment where I was like, I have to stand up now. For those of you that watch the stream, I sit through the show. Okay. I'm seated every hour, every show. About halfway through, I'm like, I have to stand up now. I have to stand up now to give myself as much assistance in the maintaining of clean pants status as is possible. I stood up, and within 45 seconds, I got 2 text/DMs, including one from our guy Shane, who watches every stream. Shane said, "Do you have to pee right now, LMAO?" To which I said, "No, I'm going to do one better." And I explained in shorthand the situation I was facing. And he said, "Oh, no, why didn't you call out with general body fatigue?" Because I'm going to tell you right now, my body is officially generally fatigued now. And I just joined the ranks of our fellow morning radio comrades of making the restroom an inhospitable place for others. I've changed the definition of toxic work environment. And all I can think about now is the fact that the last 12 hours of my life have been so bad. I can't eat oysters anymore. I can't do this again. I can never do this again.
Did you take a banana with you to the restaurant?
I did not. I'm not that guy. Like I when something has a bad reaction, if the thing is that good, there are times that I'm like, you know what? I know this is going to make me hurt for a minute, but the food's so good, I got to eat it. I'm never touching raw oysters again. Do you understand how heartbreaking that is for me? So for all of you that notice, oh, Rob's standing up, something must be wrong. Please know you were correct. When we come back, as a radio host, we have to sometimes say things about athletes and coaches that we don't like to say because it might cause conflict we don't want. Well, that happened to a host in Tennessee. We're going to tell you about the showdown he had yesterday when we come back on the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate.
New life.
All right, guys, one more read and we're back. Stay right there for me.
any mullets while you were at those concerts?
Charlotte, I definitely did.
Okay.
Charlotte was more.
I will say I waited in line for 3 hours. I saw a lot of people, and I don't recall seeing any mullets because those will stand out. And I would think that Creed would have some mullets, and they didn't. Blink-182 definitely should have some mullets, shouldn't they?
No, Blink-182 is punk. As
All right,
hell.
tonight, you need to be on mullet watch.
Okay, bet. You know there's going to be a bunch
Because
of them.
hardcore AEW, I'm going mullet. I'm thinking mullet. Who of your friends, your inner circle right now, do you think could rock the mullet?
Mark Shelley. He's a hockey guy. Hockey guys will rock him.
Yeah,
Unironically.
You don't think Keegan can pull off the mullet?
I think he can pull off the mullet.
Yeah, I think he could.
Yes, Cafe Peña is better and cleaner. You are both absolutely correct. The Rob Brown Show continues. It's the Fan Upstate. Let's get some sound in here. Now, what I'm going to say to Lonzo is very exciting. I recorded, I edited, I checked it, not exaggerating, 7 times.
Okay, did you find it before I sent it to you?
Did I find it before you sent it to me?
The audio that you're getting ready to play.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I went through, I blasted the volume. I checked 7 times at the minimum to make sure this is as clean as we can
If
make
it's
it.
the same thing, when I listened to it, I didn't hear anything. I mean, I'm not talking about the part I heard and sent to you, I believe was clean. So.
Oh, no, it was not.
Okay.
It was not.
All right.
At one point, no, at 2 points, the player calls the radio host a.
Oh, yeah. There was that, but it was bleeped on what I was watching.
Yeah.
So
I did. I'm pretty sure I got it, but I'm gonna
I
put
hate when
so on
you do-
high
I
alert
hate
right now.
when you do this.
Yeah,
It's
well,
okay. It's all right.
I could not do that and just be like,
I'll probably dump more than anybody in the building. I'm
that's
good.
correct. Lonzo has had more dumps in this building than the other morning show has. All right.
That's saying a
And
lot.
they do it twice a day. So yesterday on the show, there was yesterday on their show, there was a, let's say, confrontation. There was a confrontation between Buck Reising, Reising, R-E-I-S-I-N-G.
Let's just go Rising because
Buck Reising sounds awesome.
It's so much better. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it sounds like a radio name.
Buck Reising was at the Tennessee Titans preseason camp, and they were doing their show live. And he was about to do an interview with the member of the Titan defense when Titans defensive end Jeff Simmons came over. Now, I don't have the full context and backstory, but based on what I have heard thus far in this scenario, it sounds to me like Buck Reising has been, what's fair to say, at least slightly critical of Jeffrey Simmons so far.
This would be like if I was critical of someone over their height or something and they came in here and started yelling up at me.
Yeah,
That
and
would be
straight up called you up.
Yeah, it would be the same sort of thing.
Yeah. So Jeffrey Simmons saw.
Or every Clemson fan who's ever confronted me. But
Also fair.
Go right ahead.
Buck Reising was about to do the interview when Jeff Simmons came over and said, let's have a conversation. Except for he didn't say that at all. Here's what happened when Jeff Simmons came over to talk to Tennessee radio host Buck Reising.
Well, Jeff, you want to sit down? We can talk whenever you want to talk. Jeff, we'll deal with that later.
Okay. That's not the one.
You got the second one. You didn't get the first one.
First one wasn't that.
Oh, it definitely was. It for sure was.
Well, that just train wrecks my whole segment.
I'm sorry, it was, and I don't think I got it.
Well, you definitely got it.
Yeah,
if it was,
we'll find out.
All right. Well, dang it. I listened to it at max volume. I didn't catch it. Anyway, Jeffrey Simmons comes over and has some words for Buck Rising. Buck says, do you want to sit down and talk about it? And Jeff Simmons says, no, I don't. What I want you to do is stop talking online. Stop talking on social media because you are a vulgar name for a female genitalia.
Call him a kitty cat.
Yeah, let's go with that. So he says, hey, man, I'm not going to talk to you. Buck says, Jeff, we can sit down and do this right now. Do you want to talk this out? He goes, no, I don't want to talk to you. This is my favorite part. He says, I don't want to talk to you. I want you to say it to my face. And Jeff's like, or Buck's like, here's the mic, dude. Here you go. Like he invites him to sit down. Can I say this? I don't know what Buck Rising said to upset Jeffrey Simmons to the point that Jeffrey Simmons called him to his face multiple times. But what I will say is this. Buck Rising had the stones in that minute to tell an NFL defensive end, my guy, if you're mad, there's a chair, there's the mic. Let's do this. Well, you got to be somewhat fearless because, I mean, what's he going to do? Is he going to beat him up? He could, but that would be bad for him. The best thing would have been for him to sit down and talk to him. I will tell you this. I mean, there is a part of me that's like, if you're the player, don't, because, this could be it's just a publicity stunt for a radio dude, which is a legitimate possibility, right?
I wouldn't want to sit down and talk with that guy either. Did you hear his voice? Man, his voice is amazing.
He's got a really good radio voice. I'm going to give him that. He's got that real good radio voice. I wish I had that guy's radio voice. I might be famous by now if I did. All right. I like it. And I like that he was willing to go 10 toes to the sand and say, my guy, you want to sit down and have a talk? Let's have a talk. Let's do it right now. Here's the mic. We can do this right now. And Jeff was like, I don't want to talk to you. I want you to say to my face, yeah, that's what talking is, Jeffrey. That's how it works. Now, what I will say is this. I appreciate Buck Rising in that spot because he was willing to own what he said and talk about it. I don't know what he said. I don't know what the criticism was that got Jeffrey Simmons goat, so to speak. I don't know what ticked him off. I know Buck Rising was willing to talk about it to him, to his face in that moment. And I appreciate him, as the kids say, being willing to stand on business in that exact moment. I think that's great. What I will tell you is, if you're going to do that, then yeah, when dude comes over and says, hey man, say it to my face, don't say it on social media, you better be willing to say it to his face. You better be willing to say it to his face. And this cat did. He stood on what he said. He's like, you want to talk about it? Here's the headphones. Let's do it right now. And the guy said no. I respect that out of Buck. And I will tell you that I have been recently told, without giving away the game, because I have no intention, never have, I have no intention of making it a publicity stunt. As somebody who was recently told by someone else who very closely covers a local sporting entity and outfit, I will tell you, I was told last week that I am on somebody's radar. I'm on somebody's radar and being paid attention to what is being said on the show and how I'm presenting things and how I'm framing things on the show as maybe not positive. Now, I'm honest, if not nothing, all right, about when teams are doing well and poorly. I'm going to give you not the lean one way or the other. I'm just going to give you what I think, when I think it, how I think it. So if I'm on somebody's radar, so be it. I'm on somebody's radar. I don't intend to turn it into a publicity play, but if that individual whomst radar I am on ever wants to walk up and go, let's have a chat, I will do it. The same as if I assume that we bring BY on and he goes, hey, Lonzo, sorry, hey, Diesel, I heard you've been making short jokes about me. I expect Lonzo to go 10 toes in the sand and own it.
And I will walk over and say, give me a hug, and then I will pat him on top of his head.
Point here is, dude owned it, and I respect that. Dude didn't back it down. He said, yo, you want to talk about it? Here's the mic. And Jeffrey very clearly did not want to talk about it, which is on him, man. It's on him. I really wish I could play that on it. Tell you what, can we play that on the stream? I mean, I know we can play it. Can we play it just on the stream during the break? Is that a possibility? Do we know?
Yeah, I got to do is take it out of program.
Okay. Tell you what, we will try to play that audio for you on the stream. Facebook.com/thefanupstate, Twitter.com. Nope, sorry, no Twitter, no mas. Fan Upstate on Facebook, Fan Upstate on YouTube, The Rob Brown Show on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. We will try to play that audio for you during the break so you can hear the whole confrontation. For everybody else, we're back with the last hour after Lonzo Sports flashes you.
Now I want to know who's coming after Rob. After dropping the series opener against the Brewers, the Braves picked up a 5-1 win yesterday behind Bryce Elder, who surrendered 5 hits through 6.1 innings, striking out 7. Atlanta's offense collected 14 hits, including 2 from Jarek Lennox, Sean Murphy, Eddie Rosario, and a 4-for-5 day from Austin Riley. Atlanta is now 57-49, trailing Philadelphia by 7.5 games. And a half game up on the Mets. U.S. gymnast Simone Biles returned to the top of the medal stand after helping the Team USA win gold in the women's artistic all-around. The gold is Biles' 5th and 8th overall, making her the most decorated American Olympian gymnast in history. And make sure you tune in this afternoon from 3 to 7 p.m. for a brand new local show, Wire to Wire. Cole Bryson and The Real Diesel get you up to date on the latest local and national sports news. Great guests, great debate, a whole lot of fun. It's all Wire to Wire. I'll find out. I have suspicions, but I can't say what those suspicions are. So, keep in mind, Rob hasn't been here very much lately because he's been out and about, so we haven't discussed it. And me texting him would be pointless because he won't return my text. Oh, without a doubt, Keegan, you're absolutely right. It took a while for him to get on that radar, but now he's on it, and Raj is not happy.
Honka. So are we out of program? I'm gonna try to play this. Y'all let me know if it's playing for you.
Well, Jeff, you want to sit down? We can talk whenever you want to talk. Jeff, we'll deal with that later. Roger McCreary sitting down with us here on 104.5 The Zone. Jeff, I mean, we're on the air right now. I'm right here, Jeff. We can talk anytime you want to. Unbelievable.
We got to make that happen.
Well, we'll deal with that later on. Roger McCreary sitting down with us here on 104.5 The Zone. Jeff, if you want to sit down and talk about this, we can talk about this. I'm talking to you right here. Jeff, we tried to talk to you last week. I'm being rude to Roger. We'll deal with you later. Roger, what's going on?
It's good. I'm doing good out here. I'm doing good.
How was the day of practice? First padded practice.
So there you go. The bleeps were a vulgar word for female genitalia multiple times. But I'll tell you what, My dude stood on business. Very fair, Keegan. Very fair.
Definitely not inaccurate. I just, I was even in the room earlier and he could have said, hey, listen to this. But
I meant to 3 times and I forgot to.
We were discussing other stuff. So, I mean,
whoever's Rob on the radar also spikes his oysters. Dude,
Could be.
No, because it was before I was on said radar. And allegedly, I don't know that is true. I don't have any reason to believe that it's true other than someone closer to that entity than I am told me that I am.
I'm disappointed. I want to be on someone's radar.
Well, I'm sure it's a we.
Also, it's my fault. Cool. We're narrowing it down. Because immediately I thought it was me being Diesel that got on someone's radar and you,
Also,
I can't tell the difference between our voices.
I'm referring to him as Real Diesel from now on.
Yes, the Real Diesel.
So won't the Real Diesel please stand up?
All right, someone's making popcorn again. That's 2 days in a row.
Yep.
2 days in a row. And I haven't been able to eat popcorn since I got out of the hospital a year ago. And the smell of it is just like, just a couple pieces, it'll be all right. Oh, look at that. It's 9 o'clock. Wow. How'd that happen? See the email?
Yes.
I don't see anything attached though. Maybe
pickup.
Maybe. Oh, okay. That's why. All right.
The final hour of the Rob Brown Radio Show starts now. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. Rob and the fake Diesel Lonzo here this morning. Thanks to Johnny Hecker for creating a moment that's going to live in Lonzo's head for a couple of weeks.
No, it's your fault. I'm blaming you for
my
that.
fault.
Yeah, because you never mentioned my name, but you kept mentioning
Talk to
Diesel.
the boss. The boss could have said, hey, you'll be on with Rob and Lonzo.
No. That's not what I mean. When you came on the air talking to him, you mentioned yourself, but you never mentioned me, but you mentioned Diesel. So, I mean, it's your fault.
I opened by saying with Rob and Lonzo as I always do.
You don't always, and I'm not sure that you did. We can go back and listen to the tape, but I think it was inferred, and we're not wearing name tags. And usually we get lucky and we get people on stream, and that helps. And you're right, it's my fault. I didn't identify myself as the fake Diesel, and I should have done that.
So it is your fault. Thanks for admitting.
I think we all know whose fault it was.
Aaron Rodgers got into it at training camp for the New York Jets.
Ooh, I can't wait for you to tell me exactly what was said, because in that video, some guy's describing it, but you can't hear exactly what it said.
No, I can't.
So I can't wait for it. I want the transcripts.
I can't tell you what was said. I don't have the transcripts. What I can tell you is I am an excellent reader of body language.
Are you? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Excellent reader of body language.
How come you can't tell when you need to go to break because I got to pee then?
Because you're a professional and you don't allow your body language to interfere with the show.
All right, true that.
You would not, obviously, you would not dare interrupt the Momo of the show when we're on a roll for your own selfish needs.
You're right. I just stand up.
Anyway, Aaron Rodgers got into it, and reports afterwards were that he was upset and animated because of sloppy play and sloppy effectiveness or lack of effectiveness during practice.
Your tone makes it sound like you don't believe that, because he's been doing this his entire career, as most quarterbacks who are on that level do. Tom Brady comes to mind, and how many times he's yelled and screamed and broken like more tablets than we'll ever see in a lifetime. That sort of thing.
I appreciate sincerely Lonzo's efforts to turn this story into a non-story. As a wonderful public relations person,
I think we all know you don't like Aaron Rodgers. I mean, so you're talking about the story to prove again that you don't like Aaron Rodgers. I don't know how he hurt you. And I'll give you a sticker or a hug to make it feel better. But why do you hate Aaron Rodgers?
I don't hate Aaron Rodgers, the quarterback. I don't like Aaron Rodgers, the dude, because I think he's a goofball and I think he's self-involved.
I know a lot of people like that. I don't hate him because of it. I mean,
I think he is a.
Does that jersey have your name on it yet?
Not yet, but it will.
Okay,
it will.
I just out of curiosity for no reason.
I found a website that you for $38 they will send you a random mystery soccer jersey from some league somewhere, and the first one that I got came in yesterday. It is a soccer jersey from Liga MX, which is the top Mexican soccer league. It comes from Club Querétaro SC out of Liga MX. And I dig it a lot. It's sponsored, but their primary sponsor, their shirt sponsor is Pedigree Dog Food, which I think is great. All right. Got a lot of other sponsors. It almost looks more like a NASCAR shirt than it does a soccer jersey because they got like 9 club sponsors on it.
Got some Snickers going in there. I recognize that.
Yep.
The other things, not so much.
Got Pedigree Advanced Dog Food as their primary sponsor. Caliente.mx. I don't know what that is, but type that into the browser and see what happens.
You sure you should?
Nope. Caliente.mx. We're about to find out. It's a cell phone company in Mexico. Based on the 3 years of high school Spanish I took, I can give you pretty much that and not much else. Also, there's pictures of cell phones everywhere. So I'm going to go with this, a cell phone company.
Yeah, Mac is asking where the team name is. The logo is behind the mic flag. That's why you can't see it.
Soccer jerseys don't print their name across the front like a basketball jersey. They all put their crest on it. Here it is. There's the crest.
He's off mic right now. That's the reason why you could.
Well,
but he's still loud enough that it's like normal for anybody else. So we're good.
Point is, I dig the jersey. I dig this website. They're going to get a lot of $38 out of me moving forward because I am a big fan.
You know what? About 5 of those $38 is, and you could buy a console. I'm just saying.
5 of those 38
if you didn't spend them on that,
would be
you could buy
half of a console.
Right. So
yeah, I bought one so far.
Okay. All right.
Obviously, the console is the next big thing. I got to get the college football 2025. The point is, I dig it a lot. And the second point is, as Lonzo pointed out, yes, the next thing I do is go get my name and number put on the back. All right. Numero tres.
Very, very self-serving and all those things that you were saying about Aaron Rodgers.
Absolutely. Anyway, Aaron Rodgers is a self-important.
See, I took him away, but I brought him back.
Because, I was coming right back.
Yeah,
In fact,
but I helped you because
I was going to make the joke about how it's awesome when I do it and dumb when Aaron Rodgers does it. All right. There's a difference.
Would that have been funny?
I don't know. I like to think so. We are up for Best Sports Talk Radio Show and Best Morning Show team in the Upstate.
Wow. That sounded painful to you.
No, it's not.
Aaron.
So Aaron Rodgers had a bit of a shakeup with Jets wide receiver 1, Garrett Wilson. Very clearly something happened on a play that Aaron Rodgers of the football persuasion was not down with. They were animated. They were getting after each other. And I will acknowledge, for the sake of not causing Lonzo to have a heart attack on the air, it's training camp. This happens.
Yeah,
this happens.
And as far as what was said, I just want you to be accurate because no one knows exactly what was said except for those two.
Correct. It happens.
You got some New York guy who put the film up going, yeah, here's what happened. And with a wonderful New York accent.
Hey, here's what happened. This guy over here said that Chicago pizza's better than thin slice New York pizza, and Aaron Rodgers was at standing up for Brooklyn. Anyway, they went at it. Now, this led to a conversation about the legacy of Aaron Rodgers as a New York Jet, and more importantly, about the New York Jets with Aaron Rodgers, and Dan Orlovsky on ESPN said the following.
The acquisition happens for Aaron Rodgers, and everyone was like, this is the dice roll by the Jets, because we all felt that the Jets were a pretty good roster at that point. And I know they've added to the offensive line, but a pretty good roster at that point. And Joe Douglas, who's their general manager, was like, no. I'm going to go get a quarterback now because we believe that we're a quarterback away. I compare it a little bit to the Russell Wilson situation. The Russell Wilson trade for the Denver Broncos is widely viewed as one of the worst trades in the history of the NFL. If this doesn't go well for the Jets, this has in that conversation for being one of the worst trades in the history of the NFL. The Jets traded for a guy that was a 2 out of 3 year MVP winning quarterback. If they don't get anything for it, this is going to go down, and Joe Douglas's resume is like a complete disaster. This is one of the best defenses the Jets have in the NFL. You're going to waste Sauce Gardner. You're going to waste Quinnen Williams. You're going to waste some of this defensive talent. Garrett Wilson is one of the best receivers. I'll stand on that. Not young, best. If this doesn't go well, we're then wasting the young years of some of this young talent.
All right, okay. So as soon as we start talking about that, suddenly that video that hasn't been there in forever, I am looking at it right now. Did not touch anything. It suddenly appeared. I hate how the government's listening to me.
Government.
And by the way, I'm seeing an extended video where another receiver comes in and Breece Hall comes in and has Aaron Rodgers laughing his butt off after it. I think too much of a big deal is being made out of this because there are some people who don't like Aaron Rodgers because he's different. Thought this was America. Being different is okay in America.
You understand, being America doesn't mean I have to like you.
Right.
Right.
But you still haven't said why you don't like him.
Yes, I have.
Okay.
Yes, I have many times.
I guess
because
being thick-skulled, I just don't get it.
I think that things that Aaron Rodgers, and we don't need to get into specifically what they are, all right? Because we both know how that ends for me if we're keeping it a buck here, all right? No cap, as the kids say. Things Aaron Rodgers has said with a very large audience and platform, I think are dumb and dangerous. That's what I think. I think Aaron Rodgers has caused harm by being dumb and dangerous on massive platforms, all right? Now, does he have the right to do it? Absolutely. I have never once said Aaron Rodgers should shut up and throw the ball, like many a commentator have done. I have never once said Aaron Rodgers has to, quote, shut up and dribble, as many people have been celebrated for saying in this industry in the past. I'm not doing that. It does not mean that I have to like
football. If you did, that's a fumble. I think.
It's an expression. I have never said he doesn't have the right to speak. He absolutely does. But as I have learned over the years, I have to acknowledge your right to have an opinion. I do not have to respect your opinion. This whole we have to respect everyone's opinions. Bull crap. No, I don't. No, I don't. Some people have real bad opinions.
Hey, Rob, is Aaron Rodgers a pretty good football player?
Yes, which is why 10 seconds ago I also said I don't hate Aaron Rodgers as a quarterback. He's a great quarterback. There's no arguing that. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer.
There are a lot of people that I don't agree with on the football field, probably, but I don't care. I just want to see them play football. And they will starting tomorrow because the first preseason game is tomorrow night. Cannot wait for that because it's football season.
I am under no obligation to like anyone. No one. There's no one.
Including the fake diesel.
Including fake diesel. I am under no obligation to like anyone. I will still talk about him as an NFL quarterback because he's one of the most important in the league. No argument about that. In fact, what I am about to drive at here is probably not where you thought I was going with this segment. If Aaron Rodgers fails in New York, and as of right now, we've seen Aaron Rodgers play, 4 snaps so far before his Achilles became the 5th snap of his season last year?
3 of them were really good.
3 of them were okay.
Yeah, you got hurt on the 4th, so you know.
So we watched him play 3 snaps and then have a 4th, his Achilles. All right. Even if Aaron Rodgers comes in this year, who, by the way, not just skipped camp to go to Egypt. I'm not even mad about that. I'm skipping the Star Awards Saturday to go to Atlanta for a pre-planned vacation that I had scheduled before the date of the Star Awards. I don't care that he skipped camp and went on vacation. All right. It's a vet day. He got it. The only thing that drives me crazy is when he came back and he started talking about Egypt like he just discovered it. Started talking about how incredible and impressive it is. And we're like, yeah, bud, we all had high school history class, middle school history class. We are all aware of the civilization that is ancient Egypt. We are very aware. We got it.
By the way, I just want to say we're not all very aware. So there are some people that he probably helped out by talking about ancient Egypt.
If you've seen The Mummy with Brendan Fraser, you're aware of ancient Egypt. I know you have.
Is that historically accurate?
Emotep. I know you've seen.
Multiple times. I've seen all of them, including the bad one.
Then you are aware of the intricacies and the advancedness that was ancient. I don't need Aaron Rodgers explain like he. Guys, do you know how incredible ancient Egypt is? Yeah, I own books, Aaron. I've read them before.
Yeah, but he's got firsthand knowledge and you don't. At least not yet. Maybe you have an Egypt trip in the future. I don't know.
Anyway, so yada, 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 all that being said.
He's just so angry.
I'm actually going to defend Aaron Jets.
I'm going
to defend Aaron Jets and the New York Rodgers right now. All right? If Aaron Rodgers comes out this year and stinks or comes out this year and gets hurt in week 1 again or whatever, if any of that happens, the Jets still weren't wrong for making the move. Will it go down as one of the worst moves ever? Maybe. Maybe it will. But it should not.
By the way, Orlovsky's wrong. It will, even if he never plays another snap, it still won't be as bad as the Russell Wilson trade.
I disagree. Because the Russell Wilson trade, as I've said 100 times, ain't on Russell Wilson. That was on the Denver Broncos.
Oh, no, it was on Russell Wilson.
No, it was
not.
We'll
see when he loses his job this year to a quarterback who already looks good for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson is starting week 1 for the Steelers. Guaranteed it.
We've had this discussion. He's not going to make it through the entire season. He's going to get benched.
Bet he does. But put that aside, because this isn't about Russell Wilson and how right I am about Russell Wilson and the Denver Broncos, which is to say very right.
Are you right because you say you're right?
No, I'm right because I'm right. I say I right because I write because I write.
Mm-hmm.
So all of that being said, if Aaron Rodgers fails with the New York Jets, it is still not something that should be held against the New York Jets. They made a move to bring in a guy that is a first ballot Hall of Famer who was still playing at an NFL MVP caliber level when he said he wanted out of Green Bay. They brought in a guy who was still putting up top 3 in the league statistics when he left Green Bay and came to the Big Apple. So I'm gonna push back. I like Dan Orlovsky, but I'm gonna push back on Mr. Back of the end zone. What I'm gonna say is, even if Aaron Rodgers plays 2 snaps and not another one this year for the Jets, maybe never again, the move was still the right move to make. And the Jets should not be called having made one of the worst moves ever if Rodgers doesn't work out, because that's not true. Guy was an MVP candidate when he got to the New York Jets. This is not hung on the Jets, and it's not hung on Aaron Rodgers. All right? Get off him. It's not on the Jets for making a bad call. They made a great call that just didn't work out. It happens. And also, there's like 1 billion books at your local library about ancient Egypt. Go read them. It's wildly fascinating.
Dr. Lonzo Yankum DDS has to pee. Can we finish it up?
I just sprinted to the bathroom. I'm sweating.
Back after this on the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate.
Everyone wants to take your place at the Star Wars. I think that's funny.
I don't blame them.
Me either. It's a good thing, but it's exclusive, you know?
It is exclusive. And you have to dress like you're going to a garden party. 45 seconds, guys.
By the way, Keegan, I can't take you because you're an accessory to me standing out 3 hours at the Creed concert. So
An accessory.
You're-
to Lonzo
you're an
making a
accessory.
mistake and blaming it on everyone but himself.
I didn't make a mistake.
You did.
I did not.
Listen to my text.
I did.
Go to the left.
I did not make a mistake. You told me to go to the left when I was already 3 hours back at the. Yeah, I just.
Hey, I got called yesterday. I'm going on Sirius XM tomorrow on their SEC channel to be their South Carolina insider this year.
Oh no, I don't know if I'd have said that where people can hear that. Oh, the Clemson people are gonna freak out.
Well, tell the Clemson
I knew it. I
I'll
knew
go
it.
on-
See,
I'll go on Sirius's ACC channel and do the same thing.
like when Mark Ryan said he wasn't a Clemson guy. Quit making it look like I'm a Clemson guy. And he told on me. It's like, no, I'm not going to stop. He's doing it himself. So you are now a Gamecock. Awesome. Perception, man. I mean, I know the school you pull for, but still perception. That's cool though. I was this BetQL help you get that or? So they knew you were a Gamecock, and they come looking for you.
No, the producer of the show said that he was following around on Twitter people, and I said something a couple of days ago about South Carolina, and it came into his feed, and then he looked me up and saw that I was here, and we cover them, and said, we've been looking for a Carolina insider. Do you mind coming on weekly during the season? And
Awesome.
about him.
That's all you needed was another job. But it's another national job. So, I mean, you know. So now you're going to be on what? 3 national shows?
Yeah.
Way to go.
Yeah.
I was more certain than he was. Dadgum math. Yes, I know I'm extremely mean, but it will make me more memorable. You don't remember nice people in your life. You only remember mean people. That's it.
The Rob Brown Show continues. It's the fan of state. Rob and the great one, Lonzo, with you. Let's run through a handful of stories before we get up here for the day. Let's start with this one. There's a new sheriff in town. Well, sheriff in waiting in town. Apparently, former South Carolina Gamecock turned New Orleans Saints a superstar, soon to be first ballot Hall of Famer. Spencer Rattler is turning heads down at camp in New Orleans, Louisiana. Spencer Rattler is in a battle with last year's quarterback draft pick, Jake Haener, to become QB2 on the depth chart. behind David Carr. Got to get my cars right. Behind first ballot Hall of Famer David Carr down in New Orleans, Louisiana, the 150th overall draft pick by the Saints, was believed to have had early day 2 potential in the draft, fell to the Saints in the later rounds. I said going into that draft, I think this cat is going to be a steal, a long-term steal. I believe Spencer Rattler has the tool set and the mentality to be a guy. And I said, why? The reason I thought why was I don't think people understand the scenario that Spence found himself in last year in South Carolina. That was a bad offensive line he played behind last year. He had one primary receiver working for him last year. The running back room was depleted coming into the year. And Spence never, do you understand how many guys around week 10, week 9, 10 would have suddenly had an ankle injury that kept them out the rest of the year? Because they didn't want to risk their NFL prospects by going out there and playing behind that team. Like a lot of them would have bailed. Spence didn't. Not only did he keep going out there, but he kept balling out with one receiver. That'll be great, man. To play behind out there last year. With the depleted running back room and with a bad offensive line, Spence competed all year. And I love that. Not just competed, did good numbers, did solid numbers last year for South Carolina. And so I said going into the draft, I think this cat's a steal. I think this guy's going to be a dude at the next level. Does that mean going to be a long-time guaranteed Pro Bowler? Nah, I'm not there yet. But I think he's got the potential to be more than a journeyman backup quarterback in the league. And I got beat up for it a little bit. Oh, Rob, you're just a Gamecock homer. Oh, Rob, you end up getting into a relationship with a Gamecock, and now it's got nothing to do with that. All right? I have ticked off my fiance plenty of times over the years by saying mean things about South Carolina. I am critical of whom I need to be critical about and when I need to be critical about him. I don't take a side. But I'm telling you, I saw what I saw out of Spence last year, and I liked what I saw out of Spence last year, which is why I said steal of the draft. And I got beat up on, and I got told I'm biased, that I'm a homer, and then what happened? About a week after that, RG3 came out, said Spencer Rattler, steal of the draft. About 2 days after that, Dan Orlovsky came out, said Spencer Rattler, steal of the draft. All of a sudden, it was a bunch of non-Gamecock lines that started to form in the Spencer Rattler might be the steal of the draft department. I just happen to be, I am going to go Aaron Rodgers and pump myself up here, the first person who jumped in that line and said it. And then a bunch of people lined up after me. Now, we may not be right. I may be the first in a line of people who are wrong down the line. We'll find out. What I will tell you is this, as somebody who's following not just Panther Camp, but obviously my own, Spencer Rattler has been a dude down there so far. Like right now, is in line to be QB2 when the season starts up. Now, Spencer Rattler hasn't put on pads yet. I think the Saints start their padded practices either today or tomorrow. They haven't put on pads yet. As I said earlier in the show, there is no drug that'll get you higher than training camp workout warrior film.
Quarterback controversy?
For QB2, there is definitely right now.
Okay, so not for one.
Not for one yet. Not for one yet.
You did say yet. You did say yet.
Here's the thing. Can we talk about what happened for I went to type in David Carr, and David Carradine was the first guy that came up.
Ooh, Kung Fu.
And other things.
You probably thought Kill Bill, but I think Kung Fu.
I did think Kill Bill.
Because I'm older.
That is exactly correct.
You could snatch the pebble from my...
Anyway, you go look at Derek Carr's numbers for last year. Derek Carr's numbers last year, 68.4% completion percentage, 3,878 yards, 25 tutties, 8 interceptions for a QBR of 97.7. Now, I would keep in mind that he was banged up last year. Remember, he had the shoulder injury. He also got his bell rung at one point. But with all of that being said, Derek Carr had a career year last year. Well, now it wasn't in terms of passing percentage. It was the second highest career passing percentage he had at nearly 69 nice percent. 38 plus 100 yards. He had a string of 4 seasons in Oakland where he threw for over 4,000 yards, but only one of those did he go over 4,100 yards. So he was within 3 to 4 game striking distance of having his second best year in terms of passing yards. He had 25 touchdowns. He's only had more 3 seasons in his career so far. Again, probably 3 to 4 games within striking distance of having that career year. Everybody's busting up on Derek Carr. Derek Carr statistically, in terms of production per game, Derek Carr was a top 10 quarterback last year in the NFL. Genuinely, sincerely, statistically, top 10 quarterback in the NFL last year.
Mm-hmm.
What statistic am I wrong about? Missing games last year, Derek Carr threw for nearly 4,000 yards. Missing games, 25 to 8 TD to interception ratio. Missing games, a 68.4% completion percentage and a QBR of 97.7. What statistic was Derek Carr lacking in last year?
Win-loss.
Yes, because we all know only the quarterback's responsible for that.
Especially in New Orleans.
Yeah, only the quarterback. So, no, there is no question Spencer Rattler is not taking yet Derek Carr's job because Derek Carr is, statistically, a top 10 NFL quarterback in just about every metric.
So you're saying if he doesn't struggle a little bit, because controversies come from fans, they don't come from the team usually, that if he doesn't, if he struggles a little bit early on, that people are not going to be yelling for Rattler.
No, I don't think they will. I don't think they will.
I think they actually will because of how much publicity he's getting from how well he's doing in camp.
Derek Carr last year, and this is by team.
By the way, there's a stigma on Derek Carr.
There absolutely is.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, there shouldn't be. Derek Carr last year, if we go by team passing percentage and then add Derek Carr in there, by team passing percentage last year, Derek Carr had the 3rd highest passing percentage in the NFL last year, completion percentage last year. I mean, I don't know about you. I think that's pretty good overall. In terms of passing yardage last year, Derek Carr by himself, had more yards passing than the Colts, Ravens, Falcons, Raiders, Broncos, Titans, Cardinals, Bears, Steelers, Patriots, Jets, Giants, and Panthers last year. By himself, more than those teams combined. Last year, in terms of passing touchdowns, Derek Carr by himself had more passing touchdowns than the Commanders, Chargers, Browns, Eagles, Seahawks, Jags, Raiders, Bears, Colts, Cardinals, Falcons, Patriots, Giants, Titans, Panthers, Steelers, and Jets. More passing touchdowns than those teams by himself last year for Derek Carr. In terms of interceptions, Derek Carr had fewer touchdowns than all but about 10 teams in the league. Statistically speaking, Derek Carr is, statistically speaking, a top 10 NFL quarterback right now. Genuinely.
All right. So if we were to poll our audience, Spencer Rattler or Derek Carr, who do you think they would?
How many times do you say every time I ask a question, you're rigged, it's biased, it's rigged?
Yeah, I don't think I sound like that. Again, you know what? I think I'm going to start sounding like that to see if you change how you say I sound.
QBR on the season. Derek Carr had a higher QBR than every team last year, with the exception of the Lions, Dolphins, Ravens, Cowboys, and 49ers. He had a higher QBR in the regular season than Brock Purdy, Dak Prescott, Lamar Jackson, Tua Tagovailoa, and Matt Stafford. The only guys in the league with a higher QBR.
All right. So how they do in the playoffs?
Again,
when I'm talking about controversy, again, it comes from fans. And you are one, and I'm surprised that you're defending the guy who can't win a game for you or not enough games. Don't you want the fresh guy? Don't you want the guy who you think?
You know what I want? You know what I want? You know what I want more than anything else on the face of the freaking planet is for people to realize that win-loss is not a quarterback stat. It's not a quarterback stat.
I thought you were going to say what you want is for Fake Diesel to shut up.
No, I would never. I would never.
He's a big ass boy, is what he is. God dang.
What I want is people to recognize that win-loss is not a quarterback stat. Is it a quarterback influence stat? You're damn right it is, but it's not a QB stat. So what I'm saying here is don't get jacked up about Spence taking Derek Carr's spot just yet. Do get jacked up about the fact that Spencer Rattler is going to be QB2 on the rotation next year.
Rattler.
Sorry, Shane. Sorry, friend of the show, Shane Beamer. That's our bad. That's on us. Brandon says throwing more tutties than the Falcons last year. Not a compliment. Kirko going to change those numbers. Sorry, Brandon. It's Kirky. That's what we decided on the show. Kirky Cousins going to change the game. Back after this on the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate. All right, guys. Got to ask Lonzo a question. Be right back. Don't go anywhere. Go back on your radio. It's the Fan Upstate. Robin the Great One Lonzo, a.k.a. Fake Diesel, here on the show.
Hey, Rob, let's give away some tickets.
Hey, let's give away some tickets. You want to do it right now?
Yeah, let's
You want to give away tickets right now?
Let's do it right now.
This very second right now?
This moment, yes.
Let's give away tickets right now. Let's give away, I don't know, what do you say, 4 tickets to go down to Carolina Panther Fan Fest tomorrow night at
Sounds like
Clemson?
a good number, yes.
4 is good.
Go down and watch the Panthers practice. Always a good time to see what the product's going to look like when it gets on the field.
4 tickets to go down to Clemson tomorrow night. Practice at 6:30. You're going to get an opportunity to watch the boys practice. After the practice is over, they'll do some autographs, and the whole thing wraps up with a fireworks celebration at night. It is a family-friendly event that you can bring your family to right now with 4 tickets to tomorrow night's Carolina Panther Fan Fest. And by the way, if you're a Clemson fan, you just have to go into the stadium and, take the tour, walk around a little bit. It's not actually a tour. I'm saying you can go
we
walk
don't
around.
know what kind of access you will have in the stadium.
Yeah, you'll be in the bowl for sure.
You're not going to be able to touch the rock or anything.
Correct.
So
I don't think I don't think they have it out during off season. I could be wrong. I don't know.
Can they remove it?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I know people have vandalized it before, and they had to put in a lock and key.
Somebody
and,
at one point break it and take a part of it,
yeah,
I think.
he did. He was actually a Clemson fan. They tried to blame it on Gamecock fans, but he was actually a Clemson fan. Yeah.
Either way.
Because if you want a piece of the rock,
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Dwayne.
I think he hands those out freely, actually. But,
Caller number.
You pick, Rob.
I mean, you know where I'm always going.
It's either 4 or 5. So yeah, but we're going to go with
3 or
4.
4. That's my jersey number 3.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going 4 as in the 4 horsemen, or 5 as in the 5 time.
I'm going caller number 4 to 844-326-3663 right now. Caller number 4 to 844-326-3663 right now is going to win a quad of tickets, 4 of them, to go down to Clemson tomorrow night. Free tickets to Carolina Panther Fan Fest. You can go down, watch the practice, enjoy the practice, get your eyes on, as Lonzo calls them, the product. Tomorrow night, you will get to hang out, watch practice. They will do pictures and autographs after the game and wrap the whole after practice and wrap the whole thing up.
4, what's your name?
With a fireworks show at the end of the evening, as well as me and Diesel. Going to be doing me and Real Diesel going to be doing wire to wire without Cole Bryson and without Diesel tomorrow, without Cole Bryson, with Diesel and Rob Brown tomorrow on the show. We will be live from 3 to 7 p.m. on Wire to Wire, and then hanging out for camp afterwards. So again, go ahead right now, make your plans to be there. Johnny Hecker, punter for the Carolina Panthers, joined us earlier on the show. We'll get that interview posted for you later on this AM and give you an opportunity to hear what Johnny had to say about the season upcoming, about special teams, about the changes in the locker room, and about his favorite wing joint in Spartanburg, which he dropped and name referenced on us. I got to love that. I got to love a dude that figures out a way to work his favorite wing joint into just any interview. Spectacular. So thanks to Johnny Hecker for joining us. All right. Let's keep going here on the radio program. Got a bunch more I want to get to. We were talking South Carolina. Let's stick with that here for just a minute. Greg McElroy covers collegiate footy for ESPN. Greg McElroy was talking about the preseason SEC poll that was dropped after SEC Media Days. A preseason poll in which the South Carolina Gamecocks were voted to finish 13th place in the Southeastern Conference. The teams that were voted to finish behind South Carolina are the Arkansas Razorbacks, the Mississippi State Bulldogs, and the Vanderbilt Commodores, who, by the way, just for the lulls, Vanderbilt got 2 first-place votes in the SEC, which is the same number of first-place votes received by the LSU Tigers. Georgia received 165 first-place votes. The Texas Longhorns received 27 of them. The Crimson Tide received 12. Ole Miss 4, LSU 2, South Carolina 1, and the Vanderbilt Commodores 2 first-place votes. Greg McElroy had some things to say about South Carolina. Greg McElroy said, quote, "A lot of people look at the South Carolina Gamecocks and think about where they were problematic last year. They look at the fact that Spencer Rattler got drafted in the NFL, and they're like, they don't have enough. They don't have enough guys to make life difficult for teams that they'll face." Then he went on to say, "I think they're going to be better than people realize. I think defensively, they have a chance to be really good. Really good is relative. I don't think they're going to be a top 2 or top 3 defense in the league, but I think they'll be in the top half, which I think will let them win more games than people are anticipating. I can't personally put them in front of teams like Auburn, in front of teams like LSU, Oklahoma. All of those teams to me are better than the South Carolina Gamecocks." But he went on to say he thinks that the Gamecocks are going to be better than they are getting credit for. And I find that take relatively interesting, to be honest with you, because I wonder if it is the defense of South Carolina that is going to catch people asleep at the wheel.
Hey, really quick, congratulations to Bruce Junkin for winning that 4-pack of tickets to go see the Carolina Panthers Fan Fest tomorrow night in Clemson.
That a boy, Bruce. Bruce, I'll see you out there, Bruce. We'll be there. Me and Real Diesel. We'll be there tomorrow doing wire to wire without Cole Bryson, with Diesel, and also with me. So Bruce, congratulations. Well done. See you out there at Fan Fest tomorrow night, Clemson. Looking forward to that. So on the Greg McElroy thing, I'm intrigued. We've talked about it before. South Carolina schedule, they open up with Old Dominion. Then they're straight into Southeastern Conference play. Week 2, September 7th, they're at Kentucky. Rivalry game. Then they got LSU coming to the house September 14th. LSU's a very interesting team to me this year, because I do think they have quite a bit of talent. I do think they have a good opportunity here. And I think Brian Kelly is the type of cat that, with the right talent, can have a good team. Do I think he's going to coach to a championship? I'm not sold on it. But I think, as you saw last year, you give him the right talent, he can get you to 11-1. He can get you to 10-2. Is that game winnable for South Carolina? You're going to be a dog. For sure, you're going to be a dog. Like probably a double-digit dog. At home, away from Baton Rouge, yeah, I think it's an upset possibility. Not probability, possibility. After LSU, you've got Akron back at the house, then Ole Miss on October 5th, and then you start Murderers Row. October 12th at Alabama, October 19th at Oklahoma, November 2nd back to the house to face the Colt. Then you get a bit of a break. Vandy, Missouri, and Wofford before you finish up at Clemson.
I still, the Alabama thing, I still don't get the hype. I think Saban was the team. We're going to find out, but I think he was the team.
I don't think anybody's going to disagree, but I don't think you are overselling what Nick Saban is. I think you're underselling what Kalen DeBoer is.
What's the history of this coach?
Kalen DeBoer is, I hate cliches. I avoid cliches like the plague. Kalen DeBoer is the definition of a guy who wins everywhere he goes. He is a head coaching record since he's become a head coach. He became a head coach in 2020 at Fresno State. He then went to Washington, now at Alabama. He's 104-12 in his career.
That's all well and good. I'm just curious, and I know there's no way you'll know, how many guys do well everywhere else and then come to the SEC and fail?
That's a good question. I'd have to probably go deep dive guys that would fit that qualification, because I don't know what it would be off the top of my head.
I think the first person would be that guy that's in LSU.
Brian Kelly.
Yeah, I think that's the only in recent memory. I mean, but it wasn't like he was at a slouch of a team. He was at Notre
Dame, who puts together a pretty solid schedule on the regular for sure. I would also point out that Brian Kelly at LSU, I don't know about you, I'm not calling him a failure, like by any stretch of the imagination.
Has he been competitive for the SEC championship yet? I mean, that's what they brought him in for. So if that's your criteria, which it is for a lot of people, then so far he's a failure.
I mean, he had a 10-win team last year.
How many years has he been in the SEC?
2.
Okay.
2.
So this is his year.
Do we expect it?
This is his year. If he doesn't compete for the SEC championship this year, although making it into a playoff really helps a lot of guys. If you don't win a championship, but you make it into a playoff and have a good showing, I think that probably gets you another year if you were a coach on the bubble. Just guessing because this is our first year of it, so we don't know. But
I would say, remember his first year. His first year was the year that he won one of the best football games I've ever watched, which was that overtime game against Alabama, which was incredible. And if I recall correctly, that was Saban's last at-home SEC loss, I think, was handed to him by Brian Kelly. I don't know. Here's what I'm going to say. I think Kalen DeBoer at Alabama, as replacements for Nick Saban go, I think Kalen DeBoer at Alabama is about as good as you could ask for. Scratch that. It is as good as you could ask for. Like there's not another guy that feels like he jumps into that spot. So that's a loss for South Carolina. All right. If nothing else, just on talent alone. As long as Kalen DeBoer doesn't suck, they're going to win that game. But I don't think 7 wins is out of the question for South Carolina. I don't think 7 wins is forget out of the question. I don't think 7 wins is unrealistic for South Carolina, to tell you the truth. We broke it down. We'd have to go over it at length again. But Old Dominion's a win. Kentucky could be a win. Akron's a win. Vanderbilt's a win. Missouri's a win. Wofford's a win. You give me there's your bowl eligibility right there.
And now the Rob Brown Show presents Twitter.
All right, I was really wanted to make sure we got to this. The first thing is Xing is Shane McMahon.
So there is a rumor going on.
Oh no, substantiated.
By whomst?
Pictures, according to Fightful and Wrestle Talk.
Okay.
Oh no, look it up.
I mean,
this just dropped like a few minutes ago.
Tony Khan apparently had a private meeting. Tony Khan, of course, the CEO of All Elite Wrestling.
Shout out to Orange Cassidy.
Had a private meeting with Shane O'Mac at a private Arlington airport on Monday, according to Fightful, who we know is good because they quote us all the time.
Absolutely.
Apparently, Shane O'Mac had a meeting with Tony Khan, and there have been rumors for a while now that Shane O'Mac may ultimately be joining the AEW ranks as well. I'm just going to say I'll be at Dynamite tonight, Shane O'Mac. I'm just saying. If we're there and here comes the money, money drops, Lonzo, I won't be here tomorrow if that happens.
I'm not sure they could use that.
I don't think they can. I can also tell you, I'm real mad because for no reason,
you've been mad all day. So it's
no. Everything you said, you can multiply it by 1,000. And you won't make me as mad as the fact that I just looked up Shane O'Mac and the second tweet just dropped a spoiler on me about Deadpool and Wolverine that has ruined my week.
Well, that's not my fault, dude.
And you know who I'm talking about.
No, because there's more.
No. There's one, Lonzo. My favorite Marvel character.
Yeah. I can't believe you went this long without knowing that.
I almost punched your microphone.
By the way, my microphone. You gonna go over and punch my microphone?
Are you kidding me?
That's not my fault.
I didn't say it's your fault.
Okay,
that's why I said you could right now look across the desk and go, hey, you, Rob, and I would not be as mad at that as I am at the fact that for no reason somebody is going through putting massive cameo spoilers about this movie I haven't seen yet, and then
How have you not
I'm
seen
not done.
any of
I'm
this
not
stuff?
done.
Yell away from
And
the
it's
microphone.
one of these accounts that puts a big spoiler on it, and then they just list everything on Twitter that's trending as the tweet so that it's going to show up. I have muted every Deadpool related tag so far. And what do I get? But I get to find out that.
All right. The next thing that is Xing is Steve Perry.
Who cares? Who cares? Who cares? Is Steve Perry in Deadpool and Wolverine? Is Steve Perry going to show up?
I'm not going to tell you because that would be spoiling, and I wouldn't do that for you. Even though you're not going to see Deadpool and Wolverine for any time soon because you're just not. So I don't know why you're upset about being spoiled. When you going? Because you already said you were going. How many movies have you said you were going to go see and you haven't? It's your own fault for not seeing it yet. It's been out, dude. It's been out for
when would I have seen it? Just when.
There's plenty of time. Plenty of time for you to see it. Don't go see Blink 182 and go see Deadpool and Wolverine. You didn't have to go see that. You don't have to go to AEW tonight. You can go see Deadpool. It's too late. You already been spoiled. Not entirely, but just a little bit because there are a lot more cameos than that.
Oh, I'm sure there are.
I will tell you.
There's only one I care about.
Rob, you need to go watch it just for that because I will tell you now that the cat's out of the bag and he gets his due. He gets his due. You are going to be so excited. You finally get to see what this character should be.
I'm not going to tell y'all who it is because I, unlike the people on the internet, am not a gigantic butthole that would do that to you all. Just know that I have a favorite all-time overall, no questions asked, favorite Marvel character of all time that I have never, outside of cartoon representation from the 90s, never gotten to see a real good version of. And then we kind of got teased that we would a little while ago, and then that didn't happen. And now he's in this movie. And I didn't know that until right now. My day is ruined. I'm going home. I'm Rob. He's Lonzo.
I really don't give a.
See you tomorrow on the Rob Brown Show.
Okay, so is that going to make you not go see the movie?
No, I'm going to see the movie.
That should make you want
to. I'm not kidding. I might go see the movie right now.
Dude,
I may leave the studio and go see the movie today.
You are going to be so happy. I've kept it this whole time. And as soon as I saw him on screen, I'm like, Rob, if he ever goes and sees this, is really going to love this. Unlike how you think of me, I think of you favorably. So while we were there, I was, I think Cameron and I even had a conversation about how much you're going to enjoy it when you finally see it.
I might go see the movie right now. I'm not kidding. I may leave here and go see that movie.
You can go right down to Hollywood. I mean, I bet it's on right at 10 a.m.
I might not.
Thought you had stuff to do though.
I'm saying I may skip all those things.
Okay. Why are you still yelling?
Which one are we buying? Camelot?
Well, no, we're closer to Hollywood. Hollywood 20 is on Woodruff. It's like right down there.
Let's see. How long is it a long movie? 2 hours?
It's like 2 hours and 10 minutes, and there is a very important post-credit scene.
So I have to be out of that movie by 3:30. So I need it to start no later than say noon.
I'll bet there's 11 a.m.
There's one at 10.
Yeah.
And then not another. No, there's one at 11:20 in 3D. Is it worth it? 3D.
I watched it in 3D.
Good.
Yeah, yeah, it's not bad.
Okay, I can go at.
So it's pretty bloody, and you get to see it in 3D. So, actually, the opening sequence in 3D is not bad.
Cherrydale's got it all the times. Okay, that's what we're doing. We're going to do our real work. Sorry, my mic's way over here. Y'all probably can't even hear me complaining.
Oh yeah, they can still hear you for sure. They can hear you.
I'm putting it on the table. Genuine, sincere answer. Anybody wants to skip work and go see Deadpool and Wolverine with me? Say around. I'm going to say noon. On the table. On the table. All right. Text me, DM me, however you think you can get in touch with me. Hit me up. I'm going to see. I'm going to do the work I have to do, and then I'm going to watch Deadpool and Wolverine during the daytime today. You want to go? Shoot me a tweet, a DM, whatever. Get at me. I will tell you when and where I'm going. And now I have to leave right now so I can make sure I have time to go do my work and then go. Have a great day, everyone.